the Michael Jackson interview last night. It was actually a documentary. It was originally aired in London or in England. With me is Dean Wheeler. He's at the Fair of the World in Tiburon, California right now, where he has a holistic health center. And Dean, what did we learn last night about Michael Jackson? What did we learn last night about this man?
Phil, I think what we learned last night was a lot about ourselves. We learned in the interview with Michael Jackson that a lot of us have been panicking about child molestation. We've panicked when we find out, though, that Michael Jackson taught us last night that there really is nothing all that unnatural about a child sleeping with an adult. I think that's the good news that we got out of the Michael Jackson interview. A child sleeping with an adult who is not one of his or her parents. We've gone way overboard on protecting our kids from these imagined pederasts. We see child molesters everywhere, almost like the boogeyman. But there's really nothing wrong with a child sleeping in the same bed with an adult who isn't his or her parent.
Well, maybe if it's a friend. But what about an adult? See, Michael Jackson says he sleeps with young children who are not his children, but they're just friends of his. What about an adult who is not friends with you, but is only friends with your kids? In other words, I don't know if Michael Jackson is friends with the parents of these kids.
Well, if the children are comfortable with them, it's very important. I think we've just seen child molesters everywhere, and we're imagining them. I'll give an example. My wife, Jenny, and I have two pre-adolescent daughters, and we dropped them off this morning for a sleepover with a terrific lady that we met at a restaurant last night who was having dinner by herself, and she commented on our daughters. She was very nice. She said, "What? You have two gorgeous daughters," and she said she had a couple of horses on her property. Well, this is a great opportunity for the kids, and why would I stand in the way of my children having a good time? So at first we were very wary, and then my wife broke the tension, and she said, "Ooh, child molesters are everywhere." And she made fun of me. And I realized I was being foolish. So we need to trust people more. And this is the message that Michael Jackson gave us last night. He can sleep with little boys. He can sleep with underage children. And it's really okay. And frankly, what business is it of ours?
What about the parents? It's their business.
Well, it's really not even the parents' business, because Michael Jackson has said he's not doing anything sexual with the children.
Now, your two daughters are with a woman who you met at a restaurant last night?
Yeah, our two young daughters, Cassidy and Greta, and they're having a great time with this gal.
And you met her last night?
That's right, Phil. We do not live our lives in fear. So the girls are at her home, and we hope that they're having a good time with her or whatever men she invites over. Phil, a child molester, well, we're seeing them everywhere. And we're really going overboard. Look, if anything happens to them, we have a kind of a relationship whereby I'm sure they would say something to us when we got them back home. But I think Michael Jackson shows us a new way of looking at things.
All right. Last night I heard him interviewed, and he said that there was nothing sexual, that he just has the children sleeping with him in bed, that he serves them milk and cookies.
Yes, and that he plays music for them. He had one kid sleeping in his bed with him, even though the kid didn't want to. And you want to know something? That boy was suffering from cancer, and the cancer's healed now. And I find that very significant.
Yeah, I heard that kid say, "I didn't want to sleep in the bed, but Michael said, 'Come on, sleep with me.' And he said, 'No, Michael, I don't want to.' And he said, 'If you're my friend, you'll sleep with me.' So finally he slept with him."
And that kid had cancer, and he's cured now. I think that Michael Jackson's a very special man. He's a man-child, almost like, as he mentioned, Peter Pan. And the fact that he slept with that boy and cured his cancer, I really think...
Do you think Michael Jackson cured that kid's cancer?
I think we've got to look at it. I think we have to look at it from the standpoint of of holistic healing. I really do, because Michael Jackson is a very special guy, and I'm not saying he's Jesus Christ. Jesus is the only other one that cured people, but we are reminded that someday Jesus is returning.
All right, Dean Wheeler is with us. Michael Jackson on television last night talking about his life. One of the things, of course, that most people were interested in was this whole idea of him sleeping in his bed with underage children who are not his children. They're the children of other people. Is that proper? Is that proper? Dean Wheeler is with us. He tells us that last night, if you saw the interview, Michael taught us that there's nothing really wrong with it. Even to the point where if you're the adult, you don't even know the adult your kid's sleeping with, it's still okay. I'd have a hard time with that, Dean.
Well, Phil, I think it's a matter of learning more trust.
All right, 1-800-449-8686 is our number. 1-800-449-8686 here on the Phil Hendry Show. So you're saying that Michael Jackson opened a lot of parents' eyes last night about kids sleeping with adults.
And the other side of that is true, too, Phil. There are many adults who simply want to be friends with kids, and they don't want to have anything to do with grown-ups.
Okay, Dean, there are perverted adults who believe in sex between them and minor children, and they even have an organization.
You're talking about NAMBLA.
Yes, I am.
Look, I've read their material, NAMBLA.
NAMBLA is the North American Man-Boy Love Association.
Yes, and I've read their material, and my wife and I went to a couple of meetings, and you're right, we're not talking about sex, Phil, we're talking about cuddling. Michael Jackson cuddles the children, he hugs them, he holds a child, he lightly kisses them along the neck or the cheek. Nothing more. This is love, and I'll tell you right now, I hope my daughters are getting that from this woman, or as I say, whatever men she's with.
Well, according to what you told my producer, you said the time has come for adults to quit being ashamed of wanting to only associate with children. Michael Jackson really only wants to associate with children, doesn't he?
Well, I think the time has come, Phil, and Michael Jackson really had the courage to say it. I can tell you, I felt this need for many years. And there are days when Jenny and I, Jenny's my wife, are taking a drive or reading together.
Do you feel the need to be with little children?
No, not sex. Phil, please eliminate sex from what you're thinking. I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about...
No, socially.
I feel there are days when I'm taking a drive or reading or watching, and I think to myself, I just wish I was laying in some grass wrestling with some kids, little 10- and 9-year-old kids.
All right, you also told my producer that you don't want to be afraid to talk with a child that doesn't know you just because you may get run off by the parents. Is that true?
Well, I'll give an example. I was talking to a little girl. She's a very intelligent little girl the other day at a shopping mall, and I just wanted to scoop her up and take her for ice cream in a movie. And as I had her hand and we were walking out the exit of the mall, I said, you know what, I better turn around because people won't understand.
So you'd rather be with kids than your wife?
Well, sometimes when Jenny and I are together, I think how much more fun it would be to talk to that little girl. There are some things a child can understand far more than a woman, and Michael Jackson's taught us that. And he's reintroducing us to the wonderful relationship that can happen between child and adult.
Michael Jackson sleeping with these kids, it's non-sexual, so you think it's all right?
I not only think it's all right, I think we better loosen the bone, as they say, and relax and begin to recognize that Michael Jackson's a very special person. And I think he's shown us that we can associate with children and sleep with them if you want, and none of it's sexual, and we can prefer the company of children.
As adults?
As adults, yes, absolutely.
Well, I noticed that in the interview, he likes kids. He likes to hang around with them. He has a big amusement park.
Well, absolutely. Kids are a lot of fun to talk to. They're a different kind of person. And I think I have the right to associate with children. I think children should be free to associate with adults that they want to associate with. I'm not talking about sex. I want to just be able to sit down and talk with them without having one of their parents come over and stick his nose in and tell me that I can't talk to his kid. What right does he have?
Well, you, a couple of times last year, I see a police record here, 2 times in Northern California, you were questioned by police talking to children. Is that right?
Yeah, and they thought I was a pervert, and I'm not. I just enjoy talking to kids.
But to say that you want to talk to a kid despite what his parents think.
Yeah, I mean, it's my right. It is my right to talk to whoever I want to, even if it's a kid whose parents don't like it. There's nothing more wonderful than being with a kid, talking, and then here come the parents, and it's really tough, Phil. I think Michael Jackson showed us a lot last night.
All right, 1-800-449-8686, the number. Michael Jackson, who believes that he can sleep with kids in the same bed as long as it isn't sexual, there's nothing wrong with it. And Dean Wheeler is talking from the standpoint that somehow last night we were taught something by Michael Jackson, that he has shown us the way, and that this is the way to be, and that adults ought to be allowed to associate with children despite what their parents think. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show.
1-800-449-8686. And now more on the Phil Hendry Show.
Dean Wheeler is a holistic health practitioner, Dean?
Correct, Phil. We've got a couple of offices here in the Bay Area, and we're here at Fair of the Valley today doing demonstrations. We're giving back massages. We're demonstrating kinesiology and different things, Pilates, and we're having a lot of fun.
And you're talking that last night Michael Jackson's interview indicated that he sleeps with children, and you said something that I found interesting. You should have the right to talk to a kid even if the parents don't know about it?
I think so, Phil.
Why should you have that right, given the atmosphere of child molestation, etc.?
Phil, we are seeing child molesters under every bed. We're seeing child molesters in the closet. My wife makes fun of me when I say, well, you know, I don't know if our kids should go off with this lady. And she says, ooh, well, look at the big He-Man, all afraid of child molesters. I'm not talking about sex. I just want to sit down and talk to kids because it's relaxing for me. Why should I have to check with the parents? I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit with them. I'm going to talk to them. If I want to take a picture of them, I'm not going to do anything with a picture. I'm not taking their clothes off.
What do you mean, take a picture?
I just want to take, I like to take pictures of kids.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Julia, go ahead. You're on the Phil Hendry Show.
Yes, this is Julia in Salt Lake.
Yes, ma'am.
And I guess my question for Dean is, I mean, you said you thought it was okay for you to go talk to this 10-year-old little girl in the mall.
Right.
And she just wanted to scoop her up and take her for ice cream and a movie.
She was a lot of fun.
You actually started to walk out of there without any parental permission.
No, I was not gonna keep the child. You're misunderstanding. I'm not kidnapping the child. I'm just going to take her for an ice cream.
If you take a child for an ice cream without asking their parent permission, what do you call that?
Well, see, that's what I mean.
That's a 10-year-old child.
I think that's wrong, that I can't just sit down and have a one-on-one with her without having to tell her parents.
Well, Great, sweetie. What right do you think you have? What would you? Her parents would have started looking for her.
She liked me a lot.
Well, her parents would have started looking for her.
What if the parents are looking for her?
Well, she told me that her mommy was in getting her hair done. Now, that's at least 45 minutes. We were going to go for an ice cream. We were going to go for a grape soda or a grape drink. All right?
You know, you have no right to do that to a child. I don't care who you think you are.
That's the old way of thinking.
You have no right to walk up to someone else's child.
That's the old way of thinking.
Maybe to say hello, but not to walk off with them.
And to walk off with the kid.
That's the old way of thinking. Did you see the Michael Jackson interview?
I did see some of it.
Didn't that open your eyes to the possibilities of adults?
That opened my eyes to the fact that parents shouldn't let their children stay at Michael Jackson's house.
Oh, wait a second. Why? Why? Because he's too good to them? Because he treats them too good?
No,
I think that's the problem.
They should not be sleeping in the same room with an unknown adult. It's not even a family member.
Unknown?
Yeah, and he is unknown to them.
You don't know Michael Jackson?
No, I don't. I know of Michael Jackson.
Well, I think he showed last night that he is able to cuddle with children in his bed, lightly kiss them on the neck, and nothing else.
That is only a that is not a right.
No, I had the little girl on my lap, and I had her facing me, and she wasn't scared. She's sort of straddling me and talking to me about the thing.
Straddling you?
No, I took her and faced her.
And she's an innocent child. She might not know any better.
What do you mean straddling you?
No, she was looking at me.
Sitting on his lap, probably with her legs over his legs, straddling. That's exactly what straddling means.
I can hear the smile in your voice, Julia. You know we're making a big deal out of nothing, don't you?
No, I do not think so.
I hear the smile in your voice.
It's nervous laughter. Nervous.
It is.
I wrapped her legs around my back so she could hold on tight.
Wrapped her legs around your back?
And we went off for a what do you call it? A cone. Yeah.
Oh, and you did go off for a cone.
We were gonna, and I said that when we came back, but we were gonna gob a cone. And
you're lucky that was not my child.
Gob a cone. Thanks very much, Julia. 1-800-449-8686. Robert, you're on the Phil Hendry Show. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're way out on left field there, sir. I'm not even going to call you sir. You're totally giving the wrong message. You're sending the wrong message.
Well, I haven't done anything to these kids.
Well, no, but how do I know that as a father? First of all, this parent that got her hair done, for her not to be aware of where her child was, for you to be able to do that. I mean, please, what do you think? You're just going to take this child right out? how do we know, or a parent know, what your intentions are to do with a kid? I mean, scooping up out of a mall.
First of all,
please.
I think, Robert, you have to. And this is why I thought the Michael Jackson interview was so wonderful, because
that edited piece, that edited thing, yes, the edited interview. Go ahead.
Now hold on. He never said sex, and not every adult wants to do harm to a child.
Exactly, but you got to understand Michael Jackson's standpoint. He had the mind of a child, and he had a very rough childhood, so therefore the mind of a child isn't as rational thinking as I or Phil Henry or the rest of America is, so he has the mind of a child. You are totally different.
So
I don't know where you're coming from, but let me see you
Michael Jackson
talking to my daughter or doing something like that, and I will be in jail for your death. I'm sorry.
I doubt it.
No, I don't doubt it, because what you're sending the wrong message that this is okay, and it's not okay. I mean, you have no right whatsoever
when you were a
to
child,
go up to any kid, let alone take a child anywhere to get anything without either consulting with a parent or doing. You just can't walk. Oh, your mom's in there getting your hair done. Okay, fine, come on, let's go get something. No.
Now here's the thing. I want to jump in. Michael Jackson, it should not be excused because he seems emotionally stunted.
Exactly.
Wait a minute. What should he be excused for? What has he done?
There's nothing. It's that I think he is hurting those children.
I'm still on?
I think he's. Yes, you are. I think he's hurting those children because he's not acting adult. He's acting childlike. Kids are going to get some weird vibe off of a 44-year-old man that he's just some sort of mental midget and some kind of a Peter Pan.
Oh, so now Peter Pan's bad. For years I grew up, and many of us grew up, with these images of childhood being very comforting. Peter Pan was a man boy who was able to communicate with the children.
That's all fantasy, and that's all fantasy and cartoons. In the real world, as adults, you should know better that you just can't do that with kids. I mean, that's all fantasy and cartoon. You just have no right whatsoever. And I don't know if, you obviously in the minority because you cannot.
Then why do you let your children watch cartoons? Why do you let your children watch Peter Pan?
My child doesn't watch Peter Pan.
Well, what does your child watch? Are you telling me you do not allow her to see these fantasy images?
She sees all kinds of fantasy images, but there's no fantasy images of adults coming up to her talking. She knows better than to talk to strangers or allow them to take them somewhere to get something.
Yeah, I want to be clear. You've never shown your kid Peter Pan.
Yes, maybe, but it's not in the context you're trying to lead it forward to. Peter Pan, it's a movie like Stuart Little, like Barney, like all the other cartoons about. It has nothing to do with adults coming up to your example, by your saying, by your definition of, oh yeah, I have the right to come up to a child, straddle you.
What do you think of me calling myself?
Where are you coming from?
Let me ask you something.
I don't understand this.
Was there something wrong with me calling myself Winnie the Pooh?
Well, I didn't hear that part.
That's what I do.
Until
I call myself Winnie the Pooh.
And your views and your whole situation is just totally off of left field.
Right.
I don't see how you feel
Robert,
you have the right or the legitimacy. Let me finish. The right or the legitimacy.
If I want to walk up to your kid, if I want to walk up to your kid and say, "Hi, my name is Dean," what, are you going to kill me for that?
If I'm standing right there, there ain't nothing wrong with that whatsoever because you're just an average person. Hey, but if you was to come up to me and say, let's go get an ice cream cone, yes, then there's going to be a problem.
Well,
you walk up and say, hi, my name's Dean. How are you today, Logan? It happens all the time. And there's always people, even I come up, hey, did a little sweetheart or something like that, but I don't want to take them somewhere or sit with them or do anything. It's just, hi, how you doing, whatsoever, because I know the parent. I know the parent.
Didn't you wrap your legs around someone's neck when you were a little boy and just relaxed?
No, please.
Oh, your childhood must have been...
Wait a minute. I never did either. 1-800-449-8686. Dean Wheeler. We're reviewing last night's Michael Jackson interview. Dean says that it's perfectly fine. We're in a new day and age where an adult should be able to walk up to a kid and say, hey, let's get some ice cream without asking the permission of the kid's parents. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Henry Show.
1-800-449-8686. The Phil Henry Show is back.
Light kisses.
All right, Dean Wheeler is with us from the Fair of the Valley in Tiburon, California. You believe that Michael Jackson is completely and utterly innocent and is not threatening to children at all. This sleeping with the children thing is just that he sleeps with his children.
I absolutely do, Phil. I've known, my wife and I are members of a variety of different symposiums and groups that talk about this kind of thing. We've been to meetings of NAMBLA, which is the North American Man-Boy Love Association. That's not for us. That's not what we're talking. My wife and I went to several meetings of NAMBLA to see what if they had what we were looking for, and it's really not what we want. We were also part of the World Female Child Love Connection, which is Again, the same thing as NAMBLA. And then there's the Interfamily Sensual Network.
What is the Interfamily Sensual Network?
These are people who have chosen to have sensual, erotic contact with senior members of their family, whether it's a boy grandmother or, girl grandfather or girl grandmother. I do not believe in it.
Why are we talking about sex, then, if this has nothing to do with sex?
But just because Jenny and I have been to a lot of these meetings and checked it out, and we have brochures, no, we think that just walking up to a child, sitting down and talking, and what ruins it more than anything else are the parents. They come over and they say, "Excuse me, can I ask you what your name is, or what are you doing here?" And it just ruins it. It just ruins it.
1-800-449-8686. Let's go to John. Hello, John. You're on the Phil Hendry Show.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
It was Doug, wasn't it? Or anyway, my question is, if Michael Jackson is denying cosmetic surgery, how in the world can we believe that he is just sleeping with children?
He hasn't denied cosmetic surgery. He said he had facial surgery.
That's right. He said he had two. He had two
yes.
nose augmentations.
Well, that's all he had.
That's all he's had. Okay.
Yes, sir.
From all the years and everything that we saw on TV, it's transformed from.
You can tell by the plastic surgery he's had, 2 nose jobs and 1 lip job.
Oh, come on. The guy's skin is 16 shades lighter than it used to be. What do you mean 2 nose jobs?
That's what he said.
Okay, no, he said he denied having lip jobs.
I don't think you guys know what you're talking about.
Last night.
Did you
48 hours.
Did he say he was a member of NAMBLA? No. Did he say that he touched them in an indelicate way? No.
I'm asking, how can you believe a man that is as deformed as he is now, that he's only had 2 face jobs? How can you do that?
Well, what do you mean by a face job?
Well, or 2 nose jobs.
Okay, a face job can be something sexual. A facelift.
Can you just stick to the point?
Phil, I am. He healed a child from cancer, John. The boy that slept with him, the boy doesn't have cancer anymore. Okay, now, are you going to go to those parents and say, well, you know what, your child shouldn't sleep with Michael Jackson?
I would.
And let your child die from cancer slowly as the disease rots his body away?
No, I wouldn't let my child die from cancer, but you want to know something? I don't believe Michael Jackson cured that kid of cancer.
Okay. Well, boy, I feel sorry for you.
You feel sorry for me? I don't believe Michael Jackson cured that kid.
Yeah? John, you wanted to say something? I don't want to dominate this. John?
Okay, John's gone. Figures. Here is Tia. Go ahead. 1-800-449-8686, by the way. Tia, go ahead.
That guy is crazy. You are absolutely out of your mind. He cannot cure a kid from cancer.
Well, he did.
No, he did not. Okay, that's stupid. And if you believe that, you're just as demented as he is.
Well, Tia, Tia, I got to tell you, you left school at a very young age, and I don't know if you can understand these things. You know? Did you leave school when you were like in the 8th grade or something?
I am a junior.
You're an idiot.
Oh,
all right, okay. 1-800-449-8686. Dean, we have all we have here, as that man said, is Michael Jackson's word that he did not molest children. The fact that you want to have the freedom to talk to children whenever you want to, I think is the bigger threat.
I'm not doing anything to the kids. I just want to have a private conversation with them. I want to just ask them things and not have to worry about their parents coming around and bothering me. Now, if anybody would like further information, we're here at our the Wheeler Holistic Health Center at the Valley of the Fair, Fair of the Valley, rather, in Tiburon, California. But do not call the Interfamily Sensual Network because I don't think it's for you.
I don't want to hear about that. Granddaughter on grandmother.
It's, Phil, some people enjoy it. Granddaughter on grandmother, grandson on grandfather, grandson on grandmother, niece on grandfather, uncle on...
Forget it. Sounds like some perverted freaking sex catalog. It sounds like some goofy, weird, twisted section of the adult film store.
Children want to be understood, Phil. There's so many parents that don't understand their children. Because Michael Jackson, because my wife Jenny, because others like us do, that shouldn't mean we should be punished. And Michael Jackson last night showed us what it can be like for adults. We can all be like Michael Jackson, free and feeling childlike, wearing loose undergarments, all the clothing loose, everything sort of hanging off of us, and being very childlike.
And the other thing I saw in that thing last night, he didn't even know how to feed his baby the bottle. He had that bottle in his baby's face, and it looked like the child was in distress.
No, the child was fine. The child was fine. The child was being rude. Michael was trying to...
Oh, yeah, the infant was being rude. Here is Orlando. Go ahead.
This is Orlando Silva in Miami.
Yes, sir.
I am a cancer specialist.
Oh,
I
really?
feel
You have
embarrassed.
cancer? You have cancer?
Yes, cancer specialist.
What cancer do you have?
What is it?
What cancer do you have?
What chances? What? I don't hear you well because I'm on a cellular. But let me tell you what I believe.
What cancer? You said you have cancer?
Yes, all cancers. I'm a clinician. I'm a cancer specialist. I'm an oncologist.
You have every cancer there is?
He doesn't have cancer. He's a cancer specialist.
Yeah. Okay. What I'm trying to say is this. What I'm trying to say is this.
Okay, Orlando.
I feel embarrassed and insulted by the guy you have on the microphone trying to convince the world that having such an immoral approach to kids and to go to bed with them to kiss him on the neck, what business he has and anybody, Jackson or whoever,
but Orlando,
to be kissing kids on the neck and be following kids. Listen, man, you are out of the age of kids.
But wait a minute.
You are normal. You are sick in your mind, and so is your wife.
He kissed them gently and just squeezed their buttocks, but there was nothing sexual about it.
I don't care. You are trying to excuse when you're saying for the day you are caught involved in some sex scandal with kids and abuses to say, hey, I'm not a pervert. I said it on the radio. I'll tell you this. You deserve to be seen by a psychiatrist or before you commit a big mistake or a big abuse on a kid to be thrown in jail.
No, Orlando, I don't want to hurt children. I just think gentle, light kisses.
You are hurting. You're already hurting the society by talking to people. Now, let me tell you this. You take my girl for ice cream, and I see you, and I tell you, you are a dead man.
Miguel a gorilla. What?
I am a gorilla, but you are a pervert. And you are insane, and you belong in the nuts house, and Michael Jackson doesn't cure cancer because he's a cancer himself.
He cured cancer of that boy who had
He didn't cure anybody. You don't know he said your house from your elbow.
I just think light kisses on the inner thigh.
He doesn't cure anybody. Let me tell you this. You are a maniac. You belong in the nuts house. Let me tell you this. I got your name. If I ever hear your name involved in anything like this, so dirty and so low, I'm going to be one of the first ones to make sure that you're properly treated by justice.
Orlando, maybe you should try to heal your patients by sleeping with them, if you're a cancer specialist.
Why don't you go sleep with someone your age? Probably a man is what you need in your life. Because you are a pervert, and let me tell you this, you are a deviant. And you are totally insane. Now, let me tell you this, I'm a doctor for real. I'm so insulted in listening to your stupid and immoral comments, trying to convince the world that kissing somebody else's kid on the neck in bed is appropriate because you love kids. Come on, man. Get real.
No kidding.
Be decent and go back to your hole.
You really do. Dean, you gotta understand, you're hurting children by this. You're here with this man. Orlando, you a doctor? Orlando?
Where is he?
He's gone.
It's getting hot, too.
Oh, shut up. 1-800-449-8686. The Michael Jackson interview last night. If you missed it, you didn't miss much. Especially that guy that was conducting it. Who is that cat? Bashir guy? I was very, very disappointed in Michael Jackson. I was very frightened. It's the Phil Hendry Show.
The Phil Hendry Show. 1-800-449-8686. Making pot brownies. 1-800-449-8686. And now, Phil Hendry.
By the way, that was me doing the voice of Dean Wheeler in that last bit. Now, coming up from yesterday's show, Jeff Dowder was on. Jeff is interning at the at Caltech and at the Jet Propulsion Lab in Pasadena. He has a theory on why the shuttle came down. He believes the astronauts pulled an auto-destruct lever.
Phil Hendry Show.
Comedy Gold. You know what? I just have to tell you that you want people to listen to your intellectual point of view, but all you can do is tell me how to spell auto and tell me that the little men wear suits that go up in the Columbia spaceship. I mean, hello,
okay,
God. Who's going to buy an intellectual argument from somebody who's going to tell me how to spell auto and tell me that the men in spaceships wear spacesuits?
Okay, look, you don't understand. What I'm
No, I understand perfectly clear. You haven't made an intellectual argument at all.
What I'm trying to say is those people on board that ship they auto-destructed the ship. And
I'm not disputing that, but are you going to give me something more to go on than I don't understand what auto means?
No, I just want to be clear. You know what I mean by that.
I know exactly what you mean by that.
Okay, with all due respect, ma'am, you're a little undereducated when it comes to space. Okay? I mean, unless you're in the space program, and I don't know who I'm talking to, but...
Okay, I understand that. So if you want to educate me on the space program,
all right, I'm gonna.
If you want to assume that I'm a somewhat functioning, common sense human being, then explaining it to me and insulting my intelligence that I don't know what auto means or how to spell auto, A-U-T-O, or that the men in spaceships wear space suits when they go up in the Columbia. The next thing you're going to tell me is that the motherboard is not a board game my mom taught me how to play.
Well, ma'am, some people didn't know. I didn't mean to offend you. Some people don't know what you're talking about when I talk about, okay? What I'm trying to say is the Space Shuttle Columbia was coming in very hot, and what that means is very fast. It was doing 21,000 miles per hour. That's 18 times the speed of sound. It was coming in at the wrong angle, which meant that it was going to undershoot the runway in Orlando, and on top of that, it's coming in hot, so it was going to be going too fast. The crew, which is the people who fly it, and those are the people who are in the spacesuits.
Tell me who the crew is.
Those are the people in the spacesuits.
I know, I got that.
Well, you just
Your message was loud and clear on that. I wanted something a little bit more intellectual.
One of those people flies it. The rest of the people conduct experiments.
I understand that, too.
She gets that, the man who flies it.
I want something intellectual. That how do you know that that's the fact that they were definitely not going to make the runway? I want something intellectual on that point.
Because first of all, you know we're talking about a space shuttle, not an airport shuttle.
I understand that.
Right, because there's a difference. And a lot of people, you should see the people I tell.
Are you trying to tell me that people don't know the difference between a space shuttle and an airport shuttle?
Let me start from scratch.
No, please don't. I understand the scratch. What I want is an intellectual argument that how do you know what was going on in that computer? How do you know they were going to undershoot the runway?
Well,
I want something a little bit more foundational than what auto means and who the space guys are in the spacesuits.
I know because Toby Bowe, who was associated with people who worked at JPL, seen some papers. And I have my sources. I'm a journalist. I can't tell, otherwise I'll be thrown in jail.
No, you won't.
Well, I mean...
What are you, the CIA?
No, but I mean a journalist never exposes his sources, otherwise...
you just lose credibility and you may get fired, but you're not going to get thrown in jail. Depending on your source, you might get, a hit put on you.
You know I'm talking about outer space. So it wasn't flying around the Earth like a plane. You understand that?
Fully. Man, I understood that in 5th grade.
Phil Hendry Show.
Comedy Gold.
Goes Jeff Dowder. He's a real piece of work, that guy. What a moron. 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. So what have we got going on today? What, an elevated terror threat? The United States says it's ready to go after North Korea. It says it'll smoke every last one of them if they want to get cute. They bring it on Al-Qaeda. Bring it on Saddam. Bring it on North Korea. Bring it on. We're ready. We've never been more ready. You pissed us off. The whole world had just better sit down, squat, and try to squeeze one out because America is on the move. Does it sound jingoistic? Does it sound faintly Hitler-like? Does it sound militaristic? Does it scare you? Well, maybe they shouldn't have flown them planes into those buildings. Everything would have been fine had they not flown those planes into those buildings. Everything would have been great. We'd be over there in the Middle East. We'd be talking Turkey with the Palestinians. We'd be down there in Mexico trying to work out that whole NAFTA thing. We'd be talking to the Canadians about the border. We'd be talking to the Japanese about cars. We'd be talking to the Chinese about sneakers. We'd be cooling it out between Pakistan and India. The stock market would still be up around 11,000. There wouldn't be the unemployment. There wouldn't be the fear of recession. None of the airlines would be pumping right along. Everything would have been just fantastic had it not been for Osama and the boys taking it into the World Trade Center. Now, all bets are off. We're ready to take on North Korea, Iraq, and if France keeps running its mouth, I say they're next. Oh, man, would I just love to, I think if you're French and you're on your way home, give them the word, okay? Just chill it out, shut up, because you're starting to really peeve some people off around here. All right? Okay. All right, 1-800-449-8686. That's my message of peace this 2003 year. All right, now the official Western States Homeowners Association Country Club polo shirt is available. I'm going to tell you, if you're a fan of Bobby Dooley, you've got to get our Western States polo shirt. Please, go to our website, philhenryshow.com. Order that baby up. If you're a Ted Bell fan, you're going to have to get the Ted's Beverly Hills bowling shirt. If you're a Jay Santos fan, the Jay Santos Citizens Auxiliary Police T-shirt. And if you just like the Phil Henry Show in general, in toto, get our Phil Henry Show, the official Phil Henry Show T-shirt. Also, our CDs are available as well. All the money from those go to my friend's place, a resource center for homeless and runaway kids in Hollywood. And we'll be back. This is the Phil Henry Show, 1-800-449-8686.
The Phil Henry Show, 1-800-449-8686. Pure exhibitionism. 1-800-449-8686. And now, Phil Hendry.
See, this is what I'm talking about. I was driving to work this morning, and I'm listening to an interview of a professional football player by the name of Simeon Rice. And this guy plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it was on the great Jim Rome show, as a matter of fact. And Jim asked this guy, what do you think about Pat Tillman, who has quit pro football? Now, understand this. Pat Tillman plays football or did play for the Arizona Cardinals, and quit to join the Army Rangers and to go to war in Afghanistan. And this guy, Rice, says, well, it must be some kind of a Rambo thing. And then he says, well, he wasn't that good a football player anyway. Now, hear what the guy's saying. He's saying everything but what he should say, which is, you know what? He's got bigger balls than me. This guy, Simeon Rice, plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This guy's got football guts, which is nothing compared to what it takes to go and do what this guy did, which is go to Afghanistan, which is like war guts, Ranger guts. It's beyond football. But that's what I'm talking about when I talk about professional athletes. That's why I love watching them play ball, but when they open their big fat mouths, somebody ought to stick a sock full of horse dung in it. Pat Tillman was making about $1 million a year, about $1.5 million a year. It's a 3-year deal at 3.6. He said, forget it, goodbye. I'm joining the Army Rangers. He will not give interviews. He's not doing this for the media attention. He's not doing it for any other reason other than he feels it's the right thing to do. Now, I don't see anybody else in the NFL doing it. I don't see any ball players, hockey, basketball. In other words, I don't see any of those guys going out and actually doing something for a living. And of course, me, I'd love to do it, except my fat 50-year-old ass, they won't take me. So I have to sit here and just be a cheerleader. That's what I do now. Just when I'm getting a good feeling about sports in general, and maybe I want to go back and watch, maybe they're not such bad guys. I got to listen to this jackass this morning with these comments about a guy with real guts who quit football, joined the Rangers, and who knows, in a few weeks' time will be up to his ass in it over in Iraq. And meanwhile, this ball player, this guy that's hired to toss a little funny-shaped football around for 3 hours on a Sunday afternoon, this guy says, well, he ain't such a good ball player, and the guy is must be a Rambo thing, and all of these, and then later he finally copped to it. Well, you know what? It's quite a thing to do. It's very admirable, very admirable. I tell you what, Simeon, or whatever kind of name that is. And by the way, the name Simeon is ain't that a little insulting? Hey, Simeon, why don't you try it? And I tell you what, if you come back alive, I'll let you date my sister. How about that? That's if you come back in one piece. If not, all bets are off. But go over and maintain all of your body parts and everything, and maybe you can sit down and have dinner with my family. That's great. Love listening to those guys. You know, there was a time when athletes would, enlist. I mean, we've all heard the stories. World War II, all the ball players. One of the reasons why baseball really sucked, actually, in the 40s, because all the guys were in uniform. Everybody was gone, man. Warren Spahn, Ted Williams, all these guys were over there flying bomber missions. They were infantry captains. I mean, they were over there, going nose to nose with the enemy. That was back then. And then Korea, a few of those guys did it. By the time Vietnam rolled around, forget it. And now, that's a job some other jackass ought to do, not me. It's the all-volunteer Army. I understand that's an all-volunteer force. But now that we've got a situation of brewing, well, I'm a little bit busy. And I'm too valuable to my team. Hey, you know what? They could shut the NFL down tomorrow. It wouldn't matter to me. And I love football. They could shut that whole league down tomorrow. If it would add to our efforts around the world at maintaining some semblance of civilization, it'd be fine with me. If it meant that the United States could live another day, they could shut the whole NFL down, take every one of those players, stick them in uniform, and park them on a beach over there. I think it'd be good for every one of them. I think it would be a wonderful pursuit for Simeon Rice and his pals. The day you grow a pair of balls as big as this guy Tillman Rice is the day I'm Britney Spears' new boyfriend. It's the day that I grow another head of hair. So when somebody asks you a question, what do you think? You want to just say very respectfully, you know what, he's a hell of a man. More manhood than I got. Just say that, clam up, because your witty repartee, your flashy quotes, your in-your-face comments, you know what, man, you're dull. And by the way, anybody got any information on any NBA players that do not have a mugshot? I'd like that here at phs@philhenryshow.com. That's phs@philhenryshow.com. I'm pretty sure every guy that plays basketball in the NBA has a mugshot or a rap sheet somewhere. Now, I could be wrong. If you have information on any professional basketball player that has not been arrested for any crime whatsoever, please send it along to PHS. Yes, it's the address at the bottom of your screen, phs@philhenryshow.com. Any information on any professional basketball player that hasn't been arrested for drugs, assault, guns, we'd love to hear it. Because I'm looking for a professional basketball player who I would deem worthy to speak in front of a grade school class, but I haven't been able to find one yet, because every guy that I'm thinking about has been locked up, has been in the hole for some kind of unacceptable reprobate behavior. A lot of the kids, they like Allen Iverson. I said, no, forget it. You ain't gonna well, why not? Because he's a scumbag. That's why. Well, what did he do? What do you mean, what did he do? He's got a piece, and he's busting his way into somebody's house with a gun. Get out of here. What about, Charles Barkley? He's a fat mouth with a rap sheet. What about, I don't know. Jason Kidd, forget it. Jason Williams, he's going away for a long time. If they don't send that Jason Williams away for a long time, there's no justice in this world. That guy ought to go down the hole for a long, long time. And then who was the other guy, Janice? Jason Kidd, Jason Williams. Oh, Chris Webber. I guess he's getting his life together, huh? Anyway, that kind of bothered me because, the 11th hour is upon us. It's getting down to it. It's going to get down to it. And I know a lot of people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to think about it. They really don't. They just want to let's talk about the shuttle. Let's talk about the Michael Jackson. I'll get to the Michael Jackson. Don't worry about it. I just thought I'd get this off my chest. We'll talk all about Michael Jackson, that freak show last night. I just want to kind of get this off my chest. We're getting down to it, whether you like it or not. The 11th hour is upon us. I bought all the Orville Redenbacher I can handle. I got a 6-pack of Coors Light, and I'm going to park it and watch the war. And, I hope it doesn't happen. Like I say, I hope that guy Hussein takes the. I hope he does the honorable thing and just blows his brains out in his office one day. But I guess is that hoping for too much? Then I hope he does the second most honorable thing, which is to get himself a one-way ticket to anywhere. And then the third most honorable thing is a smart bomb finding him in his office while he's sitting there trying to figure out how to load his gun. No, wait a minute. Is this the right caliber bullet? Is this the right caliber? Is it? So Michael Jackson last night, what did you think? I don't know what to think. The guy's got a lot of bread. He likes milk and cookies. He has little kids sleeping on the floor. He has a Ferris wheel. I guess the guy's entitled to do anything he wants. There's no law against the kid sleeping with you. There's no law against a child coming to your house and sleeping with you on the floor, in the bed. There's no law against that. It may be aberrant. It may be strange. You may have had 19 facelifts, 23 nose jobs, 16 eye tucks, 43 ear raisings, 91 scalp removals. Did you get a load of the wig, too? Oh, my God. He had like a band. Whatever. It's fine. Gloria Allred, do us a favor. Go chase another ambulance, will you? Get off of this one, okay, Gloria? You were lousy on the radio. Now every time I turn on a TV set, there you are chasing another ambulance. Go out and go drop your card off in some funeral parlors someplace. You got this Michael Jackson thing. If I didn't know any better, I'd swear you're in love with him. Maybe you want to sleep on the floor with it in his room or something. You want to ride on that Ferris wheel? He's just a very sad man. He's a sad, sad man. He's got a face that looks like the Helen Bonham Carter in Planet of the Apes. He's got a demeanor and an attitude that he's like living on the planet Xenon. He comes from a horrible background. His father, is Michael Jackson's father around? Oh, he is. Because some of the things I've heard about you, Mr. Jackson, you ought to be horsewhipped. You ought to be beaten with a crowbar by all of your kids. That guy's still around, huh? One of your kids ought to just take a crowbar and crack your head open from the things I've heard that you did to those kids. You want to talk about abuse of children? Start with that scumbag. Forget about Michael Jackson. It's tragic. And that guy that did the interview, what's his name? Bashir, that English? Boy, he's in love with himself, isn't he? I was very disturbed. I didn't quite know what to say. And he didn't like what Michael was doing, but he sure didn't stop him. He didn't like the way he was feeding the baby, and he didn't like the way he was walking around with a kid, and he didn't like him at the German zoo, and all those krauts were running around just loving Michael Jackson. Didn't like the fact that the kids were wearing masks. Yeah, and where are the mothers of these children? We don't know. Do they care? No, they don't. He paid the money. Now they're gone. Isn't one of them Lisa Marie Presley, or is it that Diane Rowe woman? What's her name? Debbie Rowe. She's off someplace enjoying her millions. So I thought it was very interesting. I couldn't get away from the television set. I just sat there with big, fat milk duds and just, I did a whole box watching it. All right, 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686. If you saw that Michael Jackson interview last night, and you agree with me that he's just, it looks like a lot of fun to live at his house. Look at that Neverland Ranch. It looks just like Disneyland. What a gas to live there. I'd sleep with Michael Jackson if I could just hang out there all day long. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show.
The Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686. Car dealers in our next life. The Bill Henry Show is back. 1-800-449-8686.
So I'm told Scott Peterson's on the way. Is this you, Scott?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, let me just set this up by saying this is Scott Peterson, the husband of Lacey Peterson, who he killed.
Yeah. I'm going to deal with you when I deal with you.
Let me guess, you're going to sue me for slander.
You better believe it, my friend. The reason why I called your show, though, see, because there's nothing you can say to me that's going to bother me. The reason why...
And I guess you're looking for Lacey today?
Can I finish what I'm saying?
No, I just want to know where you are. Where are you?
I'm looking for my wife.
Uh-huh. And what, did you stop off to have a cold one?
I'm making a phone call.
In a bar?
They have phones in bars, yeah.
See, yesterday you were in a mercado in Mexico. The day before you were in a bowling alley. No, you were in the driving range. The day before that, you were in a bowling alley.
And your point's what?
My point is you're not looking for your wife at all, Mr. Peterson. You're having a couple of drinks in a bar today. You were down partying in Mexico the day before. You're on a golf course. You were on a bowling alley. You aren't doing jack, but hanging around, having a ball, selling a car, living the life, and glad that your wife is dead because you killed her.
Can I get to what I want to say before you get even more hysterical?
I'm not hysterical.
Yeah, you know, the audience and me, Mr. Henry, are listening to you just be hysterical. We're just listening to you. You're in the bowling alley. You're just going on and on and on and on. Can I say something now? Or do you want to just keep on indicting me as a murderer without any proof whatsoever, calling me the murderer of my wife without any proof whatsoever? Because when I serve you with the lawsuit, you are going to be shocked. Your jaw's going to hit the floor. Your tongue's going to roll to the wall. Your rear end will give out.
Okay, so what do you want?
I'm calling up to say that I feel bad about my wife being dead. I mean, I feel bad about my wife being...
Oh, well, little Freudian slip.
I feel bad about my wife being missing.
All of these Freudian slips, I read today that...
Yeah, tell me what you know about Freudian slips.
I read today that you're acting the same way that Susan Smith did, the one who killed her 2 kids.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? Because she did the same stuff you do. She would say that the boys were as opposed to are. She would get the tense all wrong. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
I'm saying that when she talked about her son, she talked about him as if they were in the past, not the present.
What?
You know what I'm saying.
No, I don't. What do you mean?
I said when she talked about her kids, she talked about them as if they were dead.
I don't understand.
Well, you know why? Because you're a stupid idiot. And there's another reason. Her eyes shifted all over the place.
Are you done insulting me? Can I get on to what I want to say?
Did you hear what I said? Her eyes shifted all over the place, and your eyes shift all over the place. You can't make eye contact with anybody. If you want to talk to me, why don't you come into my studio?
You done?
Go ahead. What do you want to talk about?
I wanted to announce to everybody that I'm having a garage sale at our home. We're going to be...
What are you talking about?
What?
What do you mean you're having a garage sale?
I want to get some stuff out of the garage so that I can clear it out for the...
For what?
The new car that I'm buying,
The Lacey.
Yeah, Lacey. The new car I'm buying, Lacey. And I'm going to have a garage sale, and we've got some, there's some Christmas presents here that I didn't open up. They're fresh. They're new Christmas presents.
Who are they for?
Well, they're for me.
From who?
From,
Lacey.
Yeah, they're from Lacey. But I don't have, I do want them. I guess I should keep them, huh? That would be a very tasteful thing.
I think so, yeah.
All right, okay, I'll keep the Christmas presents. But we're having a garage sale. We have some very nice kitchen stuff. We've got some nice clothes. Phil, I'm marking down. We have a great line of pregnancy wear, some maternity clothes. And
oh, my sweet God. You know what those clothes represent? They represent your wife's pregnant condition, the child that was to be born, I think, sometime around today. Where do you think she's having the kid?
Well, I hope she's in a hospital somewhere. I'd like to say, if there's any hospital that's my wife's having a kid in, could you please call me, Scott Peterson? So I'd like to.
Maybe you'd like to go see her, huh?
Oh yeah, I would. Anyway, we're gonna have a a garage sale, and the dog is still available too, by the way. And I also got some, like I mentioned, the maternity wear. We got some nice furniture. I've got a couple of TV sets, and let's see what else. Some hair barrettes and things. Hairpins. Just women's stuff.
And why wouldn't you be needing that anymore? Because you're clearing out the garage for her new car.
That's it. Yes, right, yeah. And Tracy's bike is only a year old.
Lacey's
bike is only a year old. Plus, I've got a fantastic wedding ring. It's got a big stone in it. And
who does that belong to?
You know what? She didn't. That's right. She walked out. I've got
Lacey.
I got Lacey's wedding ring. You know what, Phil? She didn't wear it. I better tell the cops. That's like a, what do you call it?
A clue.
Yeah, a clue. All right. So there you go. And yeah, I got to pay the tab here.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you could check in, Scott. Hope you find your wife.
Thank you very much, Phil. We care so deeply for her. Oh, God.
But you're still suing me.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what? He's a hell of a guy. Scott Peterson, ladies and gentlemen, the husband of the missing Lacey Peterson. He's all busted up about her being missing. He's all busted up about Mary, I mean Stacy, I mean Betty, I mean Tracy. No, Lacey being missing. That he's having a garage sale, cut rate prices on maternity clothes. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show.
1-800-449-8686, the world-famous Phil Hendry Show. Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686.
By the way, my sister-in-law went to San Francisco the other day for an anti-war protest, and she's very proud, and she's never felt more like an American. Good for you, Terry. And she went up there with her friend, Carl and Marianne. That's good. Not a problem. Not a problem. Our home is very pro-war. Your home is very anti-war. At the Hendry house, we're very pro-war. We've got our knives sharpened. All the rounds are in the gun. Full metal jacket. Locked and loaded. But Terry's been she's been sending emails between herself and Maria. The two sisters have been communicating, and it's kind of interesting. I got into a whole email debate with a friend of my wife's last year after 2 years ago after 9/11, a Quaker friend of my wife's, and it was one of those. It was an email tree that had started, or an email chain that had started among people who were, let's not act too hastily. President Bush, you have the power to. Don't make more people suffer. I don't know what it was about. I would just sit there scratching my chin and going, huh? I don't understand it. But I would fire back these missives to these people, and they would send back more things. I finally just, I somehow was able to block I didn't want to listen to them anymore. Just got to be nuts. Somebody called yesterday, and I wasn't able to answer the call and the question. It's this really lame question that's been asked lately. I don't know how this started. Because I have never said that anybody that's against the war with Iraq is unpatriotic. Never. Never. Unpatriotic? That you don't love your country? No, I never said that. I've never said that. I think that's a figment of their imagination. In other words, they think they ought to be able to say that, and nobody argues against it. So if we argue against it, therefore, we're what? We're criticizing and we shouldn't criticize? What are you talking about? I heard this guy, what's his name, Clooney, say that. No, it wasn't Clooney. It was somebody else belly aching. It was one of them, Matt Damon. Dustin Hoffman was on this thing. He said, just because I'm against the war doesn't make me unpatriotic. I'm tired of being perceived as un-American because I'm against this war. Who is perceiving you as un-American? Now, some people may say, and I'm one of them, it is an unsafe, unintelligent point of view. It is a point of view that will be very dangerous for this country. I am not calling you unpatriotic, but I have every right in the world to say I think your opinion, quite frankly, and with all due respect, is so uninformed and stupid. It borders on, I know you're not a stupid man. You must be afraid. It borders on fear. I never said you're unpatriotic, and nobody else has. This is a figment of the imagination of these cats that are anti-war, who think that somehow, I don't know, maybe they need the sheen of victim or something. They need people to perceive them as being put upon. So they say, yeah, every time I'm protesting the war, people think I'm unpatriotic. They call me un-American. I'm really put upon. I'm really in the minority. Well, I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, there's a lot of people that the emotions are running high. So when somebody says to me, I don't want to go to war in Iraq, I feel emotional about it, too, because I feel very strongly about it. I feel that we should. Not only do I feel we should, I feel we must. And let me answer one other question. I was against the Vietnam War. I was against it. I didn't want to go. I didn't think we should be there. I thought it was illegal, immoral, and in point of fact, it was on both counts. I wasn't going to go. I would have gone to Canada. I think the 50,000 guys that died over there died in vain, and I think the rest of the guys that fought over there fought for really no reason. Not that they weren't brave men and not that they weren't great men, but their leaders led them down a destructive path that was absolutely wrong. And I will think that way till the day I die. And I don't care what anybody thinks. That's the way I felt then. That's the way I feel today. That's the way I'll feel in another 20 years. That has nothing to do with how I feel about Iraq and a war with Iraq. Because I said this early on after 9/11. I'll say it again. When we were kids back in the day, and it was Vietnam, and we were waiting for our lottery numbers to come up, and we were anti-Vietnam, I remember everybody saying the same thing. When they attack us here, I'll put on a uniform for this country. Until then, I ain't going over to some jungle 10,000 miles away to fight some war, the reason for which I have no idea. Well, guess what? They just hit us over here. And I personally feel like I got to keep that pledge that I made at one drunken night in Pasadena, California, some 30-odd years ago. What the heck. Okay. I'm only kidding. Have fun at the anti-war protest. Jesus. Freaking lame asses, man. I'm telling you, it's a fashion statement. That's all it is. There is no compelling argument against going to war with Iraq. None. There's no intelligent, compelling argument against going to war with Iraq. There is none. It's the same old lame-ass rhetoric. Excuse me, why are we attacking Iraq? We could attack Korea. Yeah, we could, but we're attacking Iraq. Well, why them? Would you rather we attack Korea? I'd rather we not attack anybody. Well, we'd rather that we do. Well, then why are you doing Iraq and not Korea? Because Iraq is, frankly, more connected to the problems we're having right now. Iraq, it would appear, is funding or at least housing bases for terrorists. So they seem to be the sensible guys to go after right now. Okay, well, argument number 2. Go ahead. It seems that America is the cause of all of its problems. I mean, our policies in the Middle East led to an alienation of the people and the governments over there, and that has caused these problems. Okay, so that means what? Well, I think we should recognize that if we changed our foreign policy, then we wouldn't have these terrorist attacks. Do you really believe that? Yeah. Okay. Well, I respectfully submit that you're naive. Because if we were to change our policies tomorrow and begin to treat the people of the governments of the Middle East is really what you're talking about, because we've got nothing against the people of the Middle East. It's the governments of the Middle East that we've had these ongoing disputes with and agreements with. We'd still be attacked by terrorists. No, because America would then be on the side of the third world peoples and the peoples of color. No, man, no, they'd still attack us because there's multinational corporations that are based here, and there are a lot of, sort of extreme right-wing interests that the Al-Qaeda and other people like that are against. Okay, here's argument number 3. Okay, go ahead, man, lay it on me. First of all, the United States is simply going to be engaged in a war for oil. Why do you lie? Why don't you tell the truth? It's for oil and regional domination. Oil and regional domination. Well, tell you what. We right now are pulling in about 55% of our oil from Saudi Arabia. We also take a fair amount of oil from Iraq. However, we willingly gave that up during the embargo against Iraq and UN sanctions. Is it about oil? Is it about regional interest? Nobody, I think, is denying that. The fact of the matter, though, we're going to war now because of the terrorist attacks. Because if it was really about oil, we could have gone to war 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, hey, we could have gone to war after the oil crisis back in 1979 or the oil crisis of 1973. We could have gone to war in 1995, 1994, 1997. Why do you suppose it's now that we're going to war if it's about oil? Okay. Argument number 4. Oh, shut up. All right, here's Frank. Frank, go ahead. You're on the Phil Hendry Show.
Phil.
Hi.
Phil, I love you, man. I usually agree with you, but
you don't have to
your
agree
argument's totally invalid because Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11.
How do you... Oh, please.
Saudi Arabia
on, Frank,
had more
to
do with 9/11, right?
Iraq right now is a main sponsor of terrorism, and Iraq right now, governmentally, sanctions and aids terrorists. So they are the logical target.
Okay.
Excuse me. Governmentally, officially, at an official level, Iraq funds and supports terrorists. Saudi Arabia may house and may give birth to terrorists, and I suppose we can deal with them further down the road. But right now, Iraq has al-Qaeda bases in the north of their country. They've had al-Qaeda coming in and out of Baghdad. I believe it's Saddam Hussein who gives money to the families of suicide bombers. The argument is that we have to begin to attack terrorism at the governmental as well as at the base level. So when you say Iraq's got nothing to do with 9/11, forgive me, it's really naive.
It's not naive. The fact that Saudi Arabia has put more money into that has supported it just as much as Iraq, but we're going to Iraq.
Really? How?
Iraq?
What do you mean? What do you mean they put just as much money into it?
Saudi Arabia is where all the financing came from. Osama bin Laden, that's where he's from. His family.
Yeah, I know he's from there.
All the money is. All the people that attacked, all the people in the planes. Who were they?
I know they were Saudis. All right, so you're in favor of attacking Saudi Arabia.
And they're Bush's partners.
So
they're his business partners.
You're in favor. That's why Bush wants hydrogen cell cars, because he's so into oil, right?
Well, Bush wants hydrogen cell cars. Where is a hydrogen cell car?
Bush is in favor of developing hydrogen cells for automobiles. Is that because he's into oil?
He's in favor of it, and when I see him on the road and I see cars getting more than 20 miles to the gallon or 10 miles to the gallon, I'll agree with you. Bush does a lot.
Hey, Frank, let me ask you a question. What exactly do you think we should have done about 9/11? Attack Saudi Arabia then?
I don't know if we should have attacked Saudi Arabia. I think it was good that we went after bin Laden, and I think we've done what we can do now.
And when the president got on television and radio on the 20th of September in 2001 and said that terrorism, anybody who sponsors, aids, or abets terrorists is a terrorist, you disagreed with that? You disagree with that?
Well, a lot of people are aiding terrorists. I mean, you have these.
So, in other words, let's just let them.
Wait.
When we can identify them, you still don't want to go after them. Come on, quit being wishy-washy, man. You sound like everybody I talk to. You sound like everybody else that I talk to. They're all like, well, wait a second, we can't do that if we don't do this. And if we don't do this, we can't do that.
You're going to go to Iraq, and you're actually going to get Saddam Hussein.
I'm asking you, what is your idea of what to do? Frank, you sound like every other mealy-mouth who doesn't quite know what to do, and maybe we should wait, and maybe we shouldn't do this, and what are you going to do? What good's it going to do?
It's because I don't want to see
Saddam
World War
Hussein.
And
World War III?
People of the world are smart.
Oh, so you'd rather have somebody fly a plane into a building every 3 years than have World War III. Is that it?
Absolutely not. But you know what?
Well,
I think when Clinton was president, no one did that. And when Bush became president, someone came over and did it. Clinton had a good grasp of the world.
And the people
of the world
Frank's
respected
solution.
him.
Let's put Clinton back in office. Is that it?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Frank finally came up with a solution. We'll put Clinton back in the White House.
So wouldn't it happen if Clinton was still in the White House?
You're proving my point, man. You're proving my point. I said it 3 minutes ago. None of you cats make any sense. None of you have got any intelligent argument about this thing.
Okay, so what makes sense is to go kill thousands of innocent people.
We are not targeting civilians. We are targeting the military and dictatorship of Saddam Hussein. You know that as well as I do. We are not targeting civilians. War, the suffering of the Iraqi people. You want to talk about UN sanctions? Start with Saddam Hussein, who tortures and mutilates and murders his people by the thousands every year. Why don't you guys talk about that? Why don't you talk about that, man? Why do you talk about UN sanctions?
I'll talk about this. when the United States agrees to the same weapons inspectors coming into our country, and when we live up to the standards that Iraq has to live up to, then we can go to war.
No, not the same thing. We are not run by a maniacal dictator bent on hegemony in a region. We are a democratic society.
We have free elections.
You got it, my brother. I tell you what, man, exactly. We have a more moral country. That's right. I got news for you, Frank. I got news for you, Frank. I know you hate to admit it, but we have a more moral country and a more moral leadership in this country. We are a much more responsible country to possess nuclear weapons than Iraq. I'm sorry.
We're a very moral country.
Yeah, well, you know what? I tell you what. Yeah, you live, man, in this country because you know it is the best possible place for yourself and your family. So don't start giving me that whole, that whole line about how America is a corrupt multinational entity, blah, blah, blah. Baloney.
We are a corrupt multinational.
Yeah, sure we are. Sure we are, Frank. Yeah.
We can't even take care of our own people.
You're going to look me in the eye. We take care of our people better than any country in the world takes care of theirs.
Please. When was the last time you were in Europe, my friend?
My friend, I've been in Europe so many times the last 10 years.
Care of their people.
Where?
There's no people starving.
Where?
Oh, I'll go. I can go.
Go ahead, name a country. Name a country.
Okay.
Come on.
Hey, any country. Italy, France.
Italy.
Iceland.
Italy has more poverty. Oh, come on. And Iceland.
Are you kidding me?
Iceland's got 16 people living there, man. Okay, they dig up a few potatoes. They feed everybody. We've got 250 million freaking people here.
No, they eat very, very well there.
Hey, what's the standard of living, Frank? What's the standard of living? How much money do they make per capita?
Very well. You know what it's
come on,
like?
Tell me. Give me a number, man.
Everyone has food.
Give me a number.
Everyone has a house. Everyone lives a very nice life.
You are wrong.
And you know what else they have? They have health care. They don't have to worry about having...
The United States of America takes care of its people better than any country in the world.
Better than any country in the world?
Any country in the world. And if there is racism here, and if there's oppression or poverty here, it is double that anywhere else. And you can't stand that, because that undermines your argument about Iraq. Because then it means that, yes, we are entitled to have nuclear weapons, and a small change little dictator, a tin horn like Hussein, cannot, must not, and should not have nuclear weapons. Yeah, the United States should have. Thank God we have nuclear weapons. Thank God this country has nuclear weapons. We should be the only country with nuclear weapons, if you want the honest truth, because we are the most responsible country to have those weapons. I know. You don't want to believe it. We're just a corrupt, rotten toilet of a country, and everything should be equal. My ass. Yeah, sure. All right, I'm going to shut up, Frank. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show.
The Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686. We eat kittens.
The Phil Hendry Show is back. 1-800-449-8686.
You want to talk about a war for oil? The Kuwait War, the Gulf War, that was an oil war. If you want an oil war, that was it. Because Kuwait, when it got invaded by Iraq, does a lot of business with us, oil-wise. And if you really want an oil war, we ought to attack Saudi Arabia and invade them. It would be a much easier job, much easier, and we'd have a hell of a lot more oil. You know, Iraq, an oil war? Maybe it is, because it is about stability and it's about securing stable energy supply. But that is about the country surviving. Is it fair? Wait a second. If you want me to treat every country in the world equally, that's insane. That's insane. So that means that some maniac like Kim in North Korea, a real piece of work like Hussein in Iraq, the next Adolf Hitler in the Balkans, and the United States, we all equally get to have the same amount of nuclear weapons. You got to be dreaming. You got to be smoking some of the sweetest tie stick that the world has ever known. Castro, why don't we lay a few missiles on him? Let's just be fair about this. No. No, my sweet young friend. No, that's not how the game is played. No. Only responsible nations should have nuclear weapons. Thank God the United States is one of them. We're a democracy. We have a civilian-run military. The commander-in-chief is a civilian. We have democratic elections, as democratic as they've ever been in the history of the world. We have as secure a nuclear arsenal as any. And thank God we got the weapons that we got. Thank God we got the missiles that we got in case some guy like Hussein ever got a hold of any, and we needed to neutralize this guy. What the hell are you kidding? Are you kidding me? We're going to go toe-to-toe with this guy because he's got just as many? Ain't not going to be no UN inspectors here. We don't need any. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Henry Show.
The Phil Henry Show. 1-800-449-8686. Vagisil for the mind. This is the Phil Henry Show.
Okay, your name is Dawn?
Yes, sir.
Dawn, tell me about what you call the extended family of shuttle victims that you are a member of.
We are people who have been ignored by the government. We were ignored by President Bush at the memorial. We are part of the shuttle family, the extended family of the shuttle victims. And
how are you related to the tragedy?
I live in Newbury Park, California, and I was one of the first to discover some tiles from the shuttle. And I also found some charred insulation. And I remember the day, it was Saturday last weekend, and I remember, oh my God,
I understand.
I'm now a part of the shuttle exploding and crashing. I'm now a member of that crew. And I went home with just the two pieces of debris. I had the tiles, and I had the insulation. And I just fell into my wife's arms, and I remember crying, and I remember telling her, I'm afraid, and I'm just afraid. And she said, why? And I said, because.
Are you going to be all right, sir?
I said, because of the trauma of the explosion. She said, but you weren't on board the ship. And I said to her, and I felt my blood rising. I looked at her, and this was my wife who said this to me, and I said, I can't believe you said that. I'm a victim of this disaster, too, and you have been victimized, too.
Was it traumatic to find you say you found a piece of charred insulation?
I found a tile and a charred insulation. Yes, sir.
So the government's compensating the families of the astronauts. Are you asking for compensation as well? Sir?
Yes, we are, Phil. We are not going to be ignored the way they ignored the Gulf War veterans. We're not going to be ignored the way they ignored the Vietnam vets. Those of us who had debris fall in our yard have petitioned the United States government through NASA and the Department of Health and Human Services as members of the shuttle crew.
But you weren't on the shuttle.
No, sir. But we are backup crew members, for want of a better description. We did not ask to be on this mission. That's the difference between us and the shuttle crew members. We didn't ask. And that's what makes us different from the shuttle crew. We didn't ask. I was made a part of the shuttle crew by the debris falling in my yard.
Because you found this, and this was in your yard?
One piece of tile was on my driveway, and one was on my front lawn,
All right. You are emotionally attached to this, I can tell, and you are feeling... What makes you emotional? The fact that you found the debris or the fact that the government's ignoring you?
I think it's just the trauma of it. The fact that during the memorial not one of us was mentioned. I know there were many backup crew around the country who found debris, but the president could have mentioned at least a couple of us, and he didn't. And so the immediate shuttle families, you knew who they were there. They got to hog all the glory. I'll tell you, there's one thing I can't stand. In all of the trials and tribulations I've had in this world, in all the things that I've tried to do with my life. And there's one thing I cannot stomach, that I cannot abide being around. It's a glory hog. And while the American people don't know what the backup shuttle crew did, you got the other shuttle families at the memorial hogging all the glory.
So you want money the same way the shuttle crew family members are getting money from the astronauts fund?
Yes.
Okay.
And I shouldn't even have to be on your show asking for it.
All right, we have on our Don Parsley. Our number is 1-800-449-8686. He and many people around the country found debris, and in finding that debris from the shuttle, it was traumatic. Yes, sir?
I would say so, yes, sir. I mean, you can ask my wife. I walked into the house and I fell into her arms. I was crying.
All right, and because you found a charred piece of insulation?
I found, some insulation and a couple of bolts.
Okay, and you feel you're entitled to...
It's the trauma of finding it. That's what I'm saying, the trauma of finding it.
What do you say to people that don't believe you were part of the crew just because you found debris, and therefore you're not entitled to the money? What would you say to those people?
Well, I tell them you should have been there the day a friend of mine. I tell them a story about Bill Natterley. Bill Natterley found a piece of hose that we believed was from the shuttle. And I will never forget seeing Bill. He broke down. He wept. We both wept. Minutes before, we had seen the shuttle explode, and now we find a piece of hose. And I remember just holding him as he convulsed. He was sort of shaking in my arms, and we just held each other until the ambulance finally arrived. And it turns out that Bill had a heart attack. He was taken to the cardiac ward at Trailers. So you tell me. All
right, our number is 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686, as we talk to a man who claims to be one of the forgotten members of the shuttle crew. His name is Don Parsley. He lives in Newbury Park, California. And as we're finding, a lot of debris from the shuttle was found in Northern California, Southern California, across the breadth of the country. So did you give this piece of debris back to NASA?
The hose that we found?
The hose that you found, yeah.
At the time, sir, no, I did not.
Why not?
At the time, sir, we ascertained that it was actually the hose that we found was from his truck. He has a Dodge Durango, and it was at that time from the truck. But the point is that the man has suffered as much, if not more than anyone, related to the crew, and that's why we call ourselves the forgotten crew members. All of us who found debris, all of us who took debris, and I didn't know also, and I want to say something right now because I think it's unfair. I went to eBay only to see how much I might be able to make for it. Now, I was not going to sell it on eBay.
See, that's what I...
No, hold on. I was not going to sell it on eBay. I wanted to see how much it was worth. And I don't think that's a crime. I don't think that's against the law.
You know the federal government wants people to turn those things in.
I understand that, and I did. But I was in shock because as a forgotten member of the crew, I wanted to go to eBay and see if I could compensate myself that way because I knew the government was not going to give me anything. Now, all the shuttle family members, they get to have money. All of the crew member families, they get to have money, and they get to hog all the glory. And that's fine. But if they're going to be glory hogs, why can't we have some compensation too? Now,
but the hose that your friend Bill Natterley, and I got his name here from AP, was actually from a Dodge Durango truck.
It was, but his reaction was as if he had found debris, and he had a heart attack.
Is he all right?
Yes, he is, and I thank God for that. But the backup crew, we've been forgotten. We want compensation like the astronauts' families. If we don't get it, I can promise you I will do everything in my power to see to it that no more shuttles go into outer space.
So you are serious, sir, about shutting down the space program?
We want the government to take care of the people who put their lives on the line for for outer space.
But, sir, you didn't put your life on the line. You were...
I'm not saying that I did, but in finding the debris, you have a connection to the shuttle that exploded. And I had...
All right, hold on. 1-800-449-8686. Buffy, go ahead. Hi, you're on the Phil Hendry Show.
Yes, I just wanted to respond to this gentleman that's on the air as all of us that witness an accident are entitled to compensation. That's ridiculous. If I'm on the freeway and I see somebody wreck and his car catches on fire and I see him burned to death, I'm entitled to compensation because I'm traumatized because I'm what, part of his crew?
No, ma'am. You misunderstand me. I found debris in my yard. I found some of the shuttle.
He found shuttle debris where, in your front yard?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, and I had somebody drive down my street and hit a parked car in front of my house, and I have had bumper and part of his car in my front yard. So I'm entitled to money because of this? That's ridiculous.
No, you're not.
This is America, and you know what? Accidents are going to happen.
No, ma'am, you're not.
We're all going to have to deal with these accidents.
You're not entitled to
You
money.
are not backup crew. That is completely ridiculous.
We are backup crew because the shuttle obviously is much more significant than some car parked in front of your house that somebody left.
Sir, you did not sign up for this mission. You were not on this shuttle. You are not backup crew. You happened to be there when some debris fell in your yard, and that is very sad. It is, and it is a very traumatic experience.
Yes,
I understand.
Yes, see, there you go.
But it seems to me that you're really looking for your 15 minutes of fame and some kind of handout from the government just because you happen to get a piece of debris in your yard. That's ridiculous.
What do you say about that, Don? Because that's a good argument.
I would say that I wish you'd been there the day that Bill Natterley had a heart attack. It was...
So you found this charred insulation, and you had, what, like a nervous breakdown?
I just remember thinking, I'm part of this crew. It's like I blew up with them.
I'm sorry, sir. You are still here, and they are not, and you did not sign up for this mission, so no, you did not blow up with them.
Technically, you're right. But are you trying to compare a piece of charred insulation
I'm trying to say that you're trying to milk the government for money that they don't owe you. That is ridiculous.
I think you're going to have to answer that query, Don. People, it sounds like you're trying to get money out of the government.
Okay. Would you accuse the shuttle families of trying to milk the government?
No, because their loved ones signed up for this mission, and their loved ones died on this mission.
That's right, but...
They deserve our taxpayer money, but I will be damned if a penny of my taxpayer money goes to you. This is ridiculous.
The other side that you're not looking at is the families. Yes, you're right, their family did die, but they get the glory. They're hogging glory, and nobody knows about me.
You know why they're hogging glory? You know why? Because they went through all the schooling and all the training and everything that they had to endure to become astronauts and to go out there in outer space and try to make better for mankind. And what have you done? You're sitting at your house and a piece of shuttle falls on your property, so you're entitled to money? No, sir. They worked for it. They're entitled to it.
Ma'am, I think they're being glory hogs, and I think all we're asking for is just a little piece of...
Sir, I think you're being a glory hog. You are irritated because your name was not brought up that some piece of shuttle fell on your land, and you wanted your name in the headlights.
Can I ask a question then? Mr. Henry?
Go ahead.
What gives the government the right to explode a shuttle, and then it fell on my property, and it could have killed me? It could have killed my baby daughter.
Excuse me, the government did not explode this shuttle. It was an accident, and accidents happen. It was not an intended act. That is different, sir.
Okay, but what if the piece that fell on me or anything? See?
If it was an intended act, that is different.
Look,
it is an accident. That's why
it was an accident. Yeah. What are you going to sue the government now for compensation because the shuttle debris fell on your property and could have hit you?
Oh, so I'm just supposed to do nothing? No.
You're supposed to be thankful that you're alive and you're not up there in space and ended up there with the other people that really risked their lives, not like you did.
Ma'am,
You've not risked your life, sir.
A very dear friend of mine hooked up to a heart monitor right now because of that Durango hose that was confused for a shuttle hose, and he's hooked up to a heart monitor.
Okay, well, that's a completely different case,
What
sir.
about him? What about
he
him?
wants to go to the government and get his medical bills, compensated for because he did have a heart attack because of this situation, then that's a completely different thing,
Well,
sir.
wait a minute. This guy had a heart attack because he thought a Dodge Durango hose was a piece of the shuttle.
It was a Dodge Durango hose?
Yeah, it wasn't even a piece of the shuttle. It was a piece of it was a hose from a radiator from a Dodge truck.
That doesn't make any difference. He thought it was. and everybody was afraid. Everybody was afraid.
I can think a whole bunch of things and sue the government for them then, and I'm entitled to all this money. That's ridiculous, sir.
Well,
he
didn't know about the hose not being on the shuttle.
I'm not going to give any guy money because he thought a Dodge Durango radiator hose came from the shuttle and therefore had a heart attack.
Heck
no. All right, then tell that to the GIs coming back from the Gulf who don't get any compensation.
Well, I don't know how that...
All right. They work for the government.
Yes. Buffy, thank you for your call. 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. This man had a piece of space shuttle fall in his yard. He says he could have been killed, his family members could have been killed, and he is calling himself, along with everybody else who picked up pieces of space shuttle debris, the forgotten members of the shuttle crew. They want compensation because of the trauma of having space shuttle debris fall in their yard, as well as they wanted to be mentioned by President Bush at the memorial, and they weren't. 1-800-449-8686. What do you think? Should we at least compensate people who had debris fall in their yard? 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendry Show.
The Phil Hendry Show. 1-800-449-8686. Car dealers in our next life.
And now more on the Phil Hendry Show.
Because of the depreciation of my home.
All right. I'm with Don Parsley. Don Parsley is a homeowner from Newbury Park, California. Some of the the shuttle debris fell in his yard. He was traumatized emotionally, and he calls himself, along with other people that found shuttle debris, the backup crew. You guys, you are taking exception to the fact that President Bush did not mention you at the memorial?
No, he did not, but he gave all the glory to the families, and we have labeled that glory hog, and we think glory hog is wrong. All we're asking for, Phil, is if the astronaut fund, which is going to be paid out to the families, also should be paid out to our families, because we do consider ourselves backup crew, and at the rate of, for instance, it could take care of my mortgage, because my home will now depreciate on account of the burn marks that the debris left.
Sir, you're saying your home's going to depreciate because the shuttle debris left burn marks? Where?
It was on my front lawn, also part of the I've got a shingle roof, part of that, and my home will depreciate. I have been emotionally traumatized, and no one believes me.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Maria, go ahead. You're on the Phil Hendry Show.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello?
Maria. Hi, how are you?
Fine. My name is Maria, and I think we shouldn't have people like this, like this guy in this country. It worries me. This guy is insane. We have lost 7 precious lives, PhD up there in the shuttle, and we have this vegetable talking on the radio. For God's sake, why should we give him money?
You call me a vegetable?
Yes, that's what you are, sir. You know why? People like you are the one here that for any little reason wants to sue someone and try to make some money. Why don't you find yourself a job? A decent one. If the one you have does not pay you enough, find another job and make money the right way.
Made money.
Not the way you want to. You're not a crew member. You're not part of the family members. How can you talk like that? Who are you trying to fool here, sir?
Because I found a piece, and the godfather to my children, Bill Natterley, could die because of a Durango hose.
Listen, listen, sir. You know what? Those are just the speculations on your brain. It really worries me that we have citizens like you in this country. I would not want to be your next door neighbor. You are totally insane.
Why am I
insane? You should be in a mental health treated for psychological problems.
Why should I
That's where you should be.
Oh, you kidding me? I found a piece of space debris.
So what? So what? You found a piece of debris? So what? Who are you? You're not a damn crew member. Have you been abducted by an ET? What the hell's wrong with your brain?
That makes me a member of the crew.
No, you're not
that doesn't make you a member of the crew.
You're not a member of the family members either.
You're not a member of the crew.
Why should President Bush say your name on the TV?
But
Why should he?
Because I was traumatized by finding that piece of tile.
Guy, you really get traumatized really easy. What about if you find someone, your wife having an affair with another man? Will you be so traumatized? No, you won't. You know why? Because there's no money involved. You just try to make some money the easy way. Don't give me that piece of crap that you're traumatized because you found a piece of debris. We were all traumatized a week ago when that happened. We all cried because we all have no debris in your yard. We're not thinking about what you are.
You didn't have no debris in your yard, though, so how can you say you were traumatized?
Listen, sir, you know what? If I had the same problem you had, I will call the federal government and return it to them so they could go ahead with the investigation. Not go with a show that you've been putting on.
Right.
That's just a freaking show.
All right, Maria, thanks. 1-800-449-8686. Don Parsley found shuttle debris at his yard. He wants compensation because he feels he's now a member of the shuttle crew, too. It's the Phil Hendry Show.
The Phil Hendry Show. 1-800-449-8686. Extremism. Show. 1-800-449-8686.
We have a gentleman on the line here on the Phil Hendry Show, Mr. Don Parsley of Newbury Park, California. A piece of shuttle debris fell in his yard. He feels that he's entitled to compensation from NASA because the trauma that he went through, he thinks was similar to being a member of the crew. And on top of that, he could have been hit by the debris, and therefore, you're just asking for money, sir, aren't you?
I'm sorry?
You're just asking for money, sir, aren't you?
No, sir, I'm not. I want recognition from the president as a crew member.
You just want money, sir, don't you?
No, sir, I don't. I don't want... How come they get to be glory hogs? Huh?
You know, calling the shuttle family members glory hogs, I bet you they would give up all the glory in the world if they could have their family member back. I bet you they would give up every single bit of limelight that they will ever have from today forward if they could be with their family member today.
Well, then how come they're hogging the glory?
They're not hogging glory. It was reluctantly thrust upon them. Here is Susan. Hi, Susan. You're on the Phil Hendry Show.
Hi.
Yes.
There's a few comments I'd like to make, a few points I'd like to make. That is, first off,
I never meant...
call the families glory hogs is absolutely ridiculous because as a parallel, we can look at 9/11 and look at all the parents that were lost to their children and all the people that were lost to family members. Do we call their survivors glory hogs? No.
Well, a lot of them were.
Do we try to capitalize
on
the money? No.
A lot of them were hogging the glory.
It is your God-given American duty as an American citizen not to try to capitalize on debris from such a horrific incident as the explosion of the shuttle. And, sir, you are also impeding an investigation when you sit there and hold that item or put it on eBay in attempts to get your equity for your home out of it. You, sir, are in violation of the law, federal law.
Exactly.
By sitting there and telling people, I'm going to put this on eBay. I just want to see what it's worth.
Let me ask you something.
I should earn some money.
How do you know it's shuttle debris?
What?
How do you know it's shuttle debris?
You kidding? I mean, it's in my front lawn.
Like the Dodge Durango hose? Sir,
yeah.
I work in the aircraft field. I know how investigations go. Every piece, every object that is even of a suspect of a crash or an accident such as this is a vital piece of material they need to research to find out what caused this and to find out and prevent it from happening again.
Okay, let me ask you this.
By holding on to that item, you are sitting there and you are using your citizenship as a capitalization for more money.
Ma'am, let me ask you a question then. I've got a 25-year amortization on my home, and I'd like to shave some years off of that. That money will help me do it.
Get a second job.
That money will help me do it.
Get a second job. Sir, rates are down. Refinance. Put money down and refinance.
Wait a minute. You've got
an American duty to this country to help and improve, not to detain and impede a federal investigation. Sir, by all legal rights, you yourself are not a person to call yourself a backup crew. You are a criminal. And you are not a backup crew, sir.
Yes, I am.
You are not.
Yes.
You are a self-glorified, money-seeking person that should not even be granted trustworthiness of this radio station airtime.
I'm on the crew.
No, you're not on the crew.
You are a self-glorified publicist trying to seek dollars.
I want to know what this thing looks like.
Terrific item.
What does this thing look like? What does it look like?
What?
The debris.
It's a square tile.
It's a square tile. Well, how do you know it's off of the shuttle?
Okay, it's a square tile, and it has some grout on the back of it. It's burned. It came down.
You haven't even had a government person look at this. It could be, for all I know, some stuff that fell off a car or something. Did anybody from NASA look at it?
I can tell you, I got on the internet, I got into some chat rooms. Everybody has assured me it is shuttle debris.
You were in some chat rooms?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
okay,
brother.
So you're trying to seek monetary funds off something that is such a horrific piece, a clue, a link to what could have possibly gone wrong here, and you're holding on to it for your own effort, your own money.
The shuttle.
All right, Susan, thank you, Susan, for your call. 1-800-449-8686. David, go ahead.
You know, if you're one of the backup crew, buddy, our space program is in serious trouble. Because let me tell you something.
It was in serious trouble before I became on the crew.
You deserve compensation about like I deserve anything. And let me tell you, it's ridiculous that a human being like you would stoop so stinking low, okay, to try to suck our government dry. That's what's wrong with everything around here. It's people like you. You're a freaking moron, man. You're just so full of crap you stink,
Wait a minute. I found the shuttle debris. I cried.
As far as we know, that's a piece of burnt tile from a kitchen somewhere out of a house. We don't know if that's off that shuttle.
What about?
You don't. You cried boo-hoo. Well, I'm crying too for you.
I cried.
It's ridiculous.
Everybody cried. Everyone cried.
No, but I cried when I saw the tile. Everyone cried when they saw the shuttle blow up. I cried when I saw the tile.
Well, okay.
All right.
So you deserve compensation because you shed a few tears? Hey, I cried on Little House on the Prairie last week. Does that mean that Hollywood owes me money?
No, sir, but there's a stamp that says hydrogen dioxide on the back of the tile. That is a shuttle tile.
What does it say?
It says HD. And that's hydrogen dioxide.
You know what HD stands for?
What?
Home Depot.
All right, you know something, sir, and I want you to hear me loud and clear. You and this gentleman can go straight to hell.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. He just hung up on me.
Yep, that's good. He didn't need to be on the radio anyway. He's a freaking moron.
True. Thank you. Home Depot. Of all the wasted time, hours and hours and hours of airtime. You hung up on me, sir. Why should I have you back on?
I just want to say...
What?
I used a little turpentine to clean off a corner of the tile, and I found it has some yellow flowers on it. Now, isn't that from the shuttle?
That's right. They've got tiles on the shuttle with little yellow flowers. That's out of somebody's bathroom, man. That's out of someone's bathroom. That's a paving tile from someone's backyard.
Bull crap. Because I'll tell you...
Why do I say bull crap?
Don't they have a bathroom in the shuttle? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Thank you.
That's right. They got a bathroom in the shuttle with tiles with little yellow flowers. And I bet you they got one of them little blue cakes that they put in the toilet tank, too.
And seat covers?
Yeah, seat covers. Forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. 1-800-449-8686, The Phil Hendry Show.
The Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686. Controlled by the International Jewish Media Conspiracy. Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686.
Okay, go ahead, Bud.
Thank you, everyone. This is Bud Dickman, and welcome to my stand-up comedy act tonight.
Don't look at me. Go ahead. What are you, auditioning?
I'm going to go try and... I want to do a few minutes. This is the way it sounds. It's a club.
Yeah, it sounds like a club to me.
This is Bud's stand-up corner. And good evening, everybody, and thank you.
Jesus.
Thank you. Hey, Phil, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, Phil, you know, Michael Jackson contacted Boys to Men. You know why?
Why?
He thought it was a delivery service. Now, I want to tell you, I just got to tell you.
Jesus.
Hey, Phil, how do you know it's bedtime in Michael Jackson's house?
I don't know.
It's when the big hand touches the small hand. Thank you.
Turn that off, that stupid crowd. What are you, in the middle of a football stadium?
That's very funny, Phil.
Don't you put the laugh track on me. I'm trying to talk some sense here.
You guys are Riot fans. Hey, Phil, I got another one for you. Why did Michael Jackson start shopping at Kmart?
I don't know.
He heard boys' pants were half off.
Jeez, get that crowd, man. Where are you, in the middle of the World Cup?
Phil, what did the lady on the beach say to Michael Jackson?
I don't know.
Get out of my son. Thank you. Bud Dickman, stand-up corner. I'll be back here next week. Thank you. Ow!
Get out of here.
You hit me.
Yep, that's what I did. Get out of my son. 1-800-449-8686. Kind of like that boys' pants are half off line. That was, I got to tell you, bud.
Yeah, see, I tell you, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. Hey, get a load of this. This is Movie Secrets. I lost the sheet of Movie Secrets, Janice. I'm losing everything today. I don't know where everything is supposed to be. I swear to God, I don't know where everything is. But I do. Can you find the Movie Secret thing? Ah, there it is. Okay. Thanks, Janice. Now, this is interesting because I don't believe half of these. I just love it when a website, and this is on the Maxim online, Maxim.com. Maxim's got a thing called Movie Secrets. Get ready to dominate every movie conversation for the rest of your life. So get a load of this. They say there's a... How many of you guys saw Deer Hunter? Did you see Deer Hunter? Anybody see Deer Hunter? There's a scene in Deer Hunter. It's a very, very powerful scene where 3 GIs have been captured by the Viet Cong, and they're in a kind of a makeshift thatched jail, a hut. It's a place where they are keeping prisoners of war. And for entertainment, the Viet Cong bring the GIs upstairs, and they put a pistol on the table with 1 bullet in it, and they spin the chamber, and they force the GIs to play Russian roulette. And the reason why I say it's powerful, anybody who's ever seen that scene, I mean, with Robert De Niro and Christopher Walken and John Savage, it's amazing. It's just amazing, the fear that you see in the eyes of these guys. Well, according to Maxim, there's a reason why the tough guy actors in the Deer Hunter's harrowing Russian roulette scene, Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken, and John Savage, look so genuinely scared, crapless. A live round was indeed put in the gun with crew members trusted to check that the bullet wasn't in the chamber. Now, do you believe that? I don't. I don't believe it. It sounds like a great story, but it's crap. You know why it's crap? Because there's a thing called occupational safety and whatever the hell administration. It's against the law. It's against the law. Number 2. Go ahead.
On the R.C. Collins blows-o-meter, egg salad.
You got it. All right, number 2. To heighten the gut-wrenching realism of Saving Private Ryan's D-Day invasion, director Steven Spielberg cast real amputees to play GIs with their limbs freshly blown off. I don't believe that either. Because with digital effects, did anybody see Forrest Gump? Hello. Did you see Gary Sinise? Hello. He don't have no legs in that movie either.
On the R.C. Collins blows-o-meter, egg salad.
Still egg salad, huh? Is there any broccoli? The reason the grunts in Platoon, in the movie Platoon, the war movie, a great movie, in fact, the only really good movie Oliver Stone ever did. The reason the grunts and platoon look so naturally wasted in that scene where Sergeant Elias and his mates are smoking dope, down there in that bunker, is that, in fact, they lit up real weed.
On the R.C. Collins blows-o-meter, broccoli.
So, see? That's horse manure, man. See, just because Maxim, you got a great magazine, but you know what?
On the R.C. Collins blows-o-meter, yep, bean dip.
So, we really feel that Maxim needs a little upper colonic. Thank God the weekend is here. Don't forget our website, philhenryshow.com. I'm telling you, when you go to our website, you'll say to yourself,
on the R.C. Collins blows-o-meter, scrambled eggs.
Yes, indeed. You'll go to our website, and you will dig the things you find there. Go to our souvenir shop. Look at our Ted's of Beverly Hills bowling shirt, our Jay Santos Citizens Auxiliary Police T-shirt. Brand new, our Western Estates Homeowners Association Country Club polo shirt. This is the shirt to wear for the coming summer months. It's fantastic. 100% cotton peak shirt. It's navy blue. It features a well-knit collar and cuffs and a 2-button placket. The official Western Estates crest is richly embroidered on the left chest, the same insignia you'd see emblazoned on the gates on the community, if you were lucky enough to live there, that is. It comes in small, medium, large, extra large, and double extra large, and I'll tell you, it's for you to order right now on our website, philhenryshow.com. We also have, by popular demand, the official Phil Henry Show T-shirt. Now, we've had a lot of people say, look, I don't want to get the Jay Santos shirt. Have you got just the Phil Henry Show shirt? I said, well, I didn't really want I didn't want you guys to become walking billboards for the show. I wanted it to be a little bit hipper than that. But if you want a Phil Henry Show shirt, you got it. We've produced one of those. It's red, and it has the official Phil Henry Show logo right there, that sunburst logo right on the front of it. To order any of this stuff, just go to our website, philhenryshow.com, PHILHENDRIE show.com. And also you can get our best of CDs going all the way back to 1997. All of the money that we raise through the sale of the best of the Phil Henry Show CDs goes to my friend's place, a resource center for homeless and runaway kids in Hollywood, California. This year's CD, world famous, is a 2-CD set. So it's very important that you know that, because you're getting double the material for the same price, $20, $3.50 shipping and handling. We've decided to double up our CD because we just had so much good stuff this year. Pick up World Famous. That's our best of the year 2002 CD, and it's available on our website or by dialing 877-616 PHIL 877-616-7445. And just because we're being juvenile, just because we are, well, we spent a whole hour talking about Iraq, so why not? One more time.
On the R.C. Collins blows-o-meter, yep, that's the mysterious stench from the crap room on a fishing boat 5 months out at sea.
Wow. Oh, man. I don't even remember that ever. I don't remember recording that. That's sad. Of course, this whole show is sad. An hour ago, we were talking about Iraq and how we should go to war, and this hour, it's the, broccoli. Broccoli!
Now, Phil Hendry, 1-800-449-8686. Now, Phil Hendry.
Mr. Remarca, you have an auto repair shop, right?
Yes, I do. I've got one in Lancaster, California, but the point I'm trying to make to you, Phil, is we've had almost 100 years of automobiles, and one would think that people would understand how cars work. To this day, the biggest offenders are women.
Women don't know how automobiles work.
Women don't know the basic facts about an automobile.
Well, Donna DeCruz at Channel 19, and you know the facts of this. She's their consumer watchdog. She came to your shop. You have a service station. You do auto repair. She came in with a car that she said was making a high-pitched whine.
Yes, sir, and she lied about that.
All right, hold on. She said it was making a high-pitched whine when it starts up, and you told her you could fix it for $90. You said to her she needed a brand-new fan belt, right?
What she told you, she lied.
Wait. You said she needed a new fan belt. You fixed it for $90, and it turned out that she brought in a perfectly fine operating automobile that had a new fan belt and was, in point of fact, not squeaking, right?
Well, I I don't know how I answer you, sir. You've indicted me before you've allowed me to answer the question.
All right, I'm sorry. I wanted to get what I thought were the facts out. You own a service station. You saw a woman come in who needed a repair on her car. You decided to take advantage of her.
Number one, sir, she lied. Number two, it's been my experience that women don't know what they're talking about when it comes to cars. So therefore, I believe that it is in point of fact their own fault. And the fact is that I am in a situation where I do need the money. And I think there's an old Latin phrase, Mr. Henry, that your listeners are going to know about. It's called buyer beware. Now, I don't know what it is in Latin, but you're familiar with buyer beware.
Of course I'm familiar with buyer beware. It's an age-old shopkeeper-customer pact, which basically means as the buyer, I should be on the lookout.
That is correct. I feel that when a consumer comes into my repair shop who is so completely ignorant that they don't know how a car runs, that they're just asking for it. And I saw this gal come in, and I saw her get out of the car. That's exactly what I told myself. I said, she's asking for it.
And she's asking for what? To be cheated?
When I charge an extra $20, $25 on an oil change, I charge an extra $35, $40 on a lube job. I don't call that cheating. I call that a penalty that individual is paying.
Oh, come on, Mr. Amarca. When you say a penalty, you're saying that the person deserves to get ripped off.
Women have been coming into service stations since cars were invented, as dumb as the day is, and I don't mean to use the word dumb, but they are definitely not as informed as men.
So because Ms. DeCruz was a female, you decided to conduct business as usual. You overcharged her for that work.
Women have pushed the responsibility of auto repair to their husbands.
Well, because she was a woman, you decided to overcharge her for your work.
I decided to do that, as a lot of mechanics do. And I will tell you again, you're asking for it, you're going to get it. And I am in a situation, as I told the judge, that I do need the money. And so if it's down between $20 for her oil change and my children getting medical care and my wife getting medical care, I don't think that there's any argument.
So cheating do you cheat men?
You know, sir, I don't look at it as cheating.
Well, do you do this to men?
I do it to women because women have generally been the ones that have not been conscious of not as aware of how an automobile runs. They're
like babes in the woods when they come in. Women don't know what you're talking about.
Women are easier to add on expenses to. Yes, sir.
Austin Amarca is with me. He owns a service station and repair in Lancaster, California, and he was recently. You went before a judge in Canyon Country or in Canyon County because of this work you did on Mr. Cruz's car, which was not needed. Our number is 1-800-449-8686.
Well, I got to say the women are the worst offenders of being ignorant about their cars.
I understand that. Hold on. 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686 is our number. Okay, so you purposely cheat women.
I don't see it that way, sir. I do see it as something they're asking for. And when they're asking for it, it's buyer beware. You got to remember, buyer beware. That is a very simple fact. And my family needs the money.
Tell me about your family. You said your children need medical care?
Yes, sir, they do.
Can you tell me about that?
Yes, sir. I told the judge that my children, I got 5 children, and you come into my home anytime you want, Mr. Henry. You can have some dinner with my family, and you will see that I'm an honest man. I have 5 children who have severe overbite, what you call buck teeth. My wife is flat-chested to almost to a medical fault. And if I overcharge some woman an extra $20, $25 for her windshield wiper fluid or for an oil change that's maybe 3 months early, I might be able to...
All right, you told a woman she needed a brand-new engine, didn't you? And that's close to $10,000.
Well, she was driving a 900 Series Mercedes-Benz, so... You tell me whether she can afford that or not.
But the point is, when you see a woman walk into your service station, you automatically say, I'm going to tack the money. I'm going to overcharge.
Because she's asking for it.
Because she's a woman, she's asking for it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's not, when I overcharge, I'm talking about a $20, $25, $30, $35.
$10,000 for a brand new engine?
That woman was driving a Mercedes 900 Series. Now, I'll tell you right now, I will be shocked if she can't afford that.
All right, your children need an orthodontist, and your wife is flat-chested. So what does that mean?
What that means is that I am putting together money because I'm self-employed, and I do not have, I am self-employed, so I buy my own insurance. And that does not leave a lot extra. And it has been my wife's dream that she wanted a breast enhancement. And my children have buck teeth, and so we have tried to get them to the orthodontist.
So that's the medical need that you have.
That is, I'll tell you what, sir. You come to my home, you watch my children eat, you listen to the taunting they get at school, you listen to the taunting that my wife gets when she goes out and does laundry or goes to her friends' homes for a what they call a coffee and watercress sandwiches or whatever the women do, and they get actively taunted. And so I am trying to help my children not be made fools of at school and to have my wife not be ashamed to go visit her friends.
Your wife needs a breast enhancement. Your children need braces because they have buck teeth.
That is correct, yes, sir.
And all of them are being actively taunted outside the home.
Yes, sir, they are. And Melanie is my wife. And I will tell you that I love her very much. And all I want for her is to be happy. And if this will make her happy.
And so because of that, you are overcharging these people. Donna, I talked to Donna DeCruz. I know her over Channel 19. She says that you're a nice man, but that you have been doing this, according to her. You admitted to her that you've been doing this since you opened the station 15 years ago.
Yes, sir, I have, but it's not something that I do alone. There are a lot of auto mechanics that do this. And when a woman comes in, she's asking for it. Because
that's about the third time you said a woman. You know what that sounds like to me? Sometimes I hear guys say she was asking for it when she gets raped.
Sir, I don't even go there, all right?
No, I'm not saying you're doing that. But you said she's asking for it by the mere fact that she's a woman, so you're going to jack the price on her $20, $30 for whatever it may be.
I've got a medical problem at home with my children, and I've got a buyer beware, which says right up front, watch out. And these women, you know, they don't know nothing about cars, and I got buck teeth kid at home. Now, I can tell you this right now. I got a flat-chested wife, buck teeth kids, and you're asking me why I do it?
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Mr. Austin Amarca is with me. He owns a repair shop.
And, Mr. Ed, if I could just throw one thing in.
Go ahead.
The fact is that I have that I was a mechanic in training for California State licensing. The California State recognizes me as mechanic in training and a grade A mechanic. And
so all the more reason not to rip people off.
If somebody comes in so stupid, they don't know how their car runs, it's buyer beware. See, that's the whole thing that I've learned.
Let me go to Cindy. Cindy, you're on the Phil Hendry Show. Go ahead.
I can't believe you do this to people. Like, do you know everything about every appliance in your house and, like, how your air conditioner runs?
If somebody comes to my home to repair it, I try to make myself as educated as I can about what he's doing. Am I supposed to sit there and listen to him say, well, this, and something else, and just accept it as fact?
So if all you need is a little bit of Freon in your air conditioner and he tells you that you need a new compressor, you're just, okay with that?
That's called buyer beware.
How can people know? I mean, how am I supposed to know? I know what my radiator is.
You know, I'm sorry you don't know anything about cars, but that's just the fact of life.
I know enough about my car to know that I'm not going to take it to a rip-off artist.
How do you know? How do you know you're not taking it to a rip-off artist?
Let me ask you this. What's the percentage that the average woman, if she takes her car to a mechanic, is getting ripped off?
About 70%.
70%?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's so many ways a mechanic can simply say, this is wrong. And if the lady knows, I've never met a woman yet that knows anything about a car. But if she did, he could simply say, oh, well, I made a mistake. I thought it was that one. It's this one. It's easy. Now, do I feel sorry?
Wrong.
Do I feel sorry for the women?
Yeah, do you?
No, sir, I don't.
Why not?
Hey, they're asking for it. They're begging for it.
Are you begging for somebody to come walk into your house in the middle of the night just because you have the audacity to be asleep and rip you off blind?
I keep my doors locked, lady, and I got a gun right by my bedstand. I hope that answers your question.
No,
right.
it really doesn't.
All right.
Well, yeah, it does. Somebody comes through my house in the middle of the night, I'll fill their ass so full of buckshot, they'll never do it again.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. So if you're a female and you take your car to a mechanic and you get ripped off, is it your fault? According to this gentleman, who is an auto mechanic and was cited by the state of California Attorney General for basically defrauding customers, it is. Mr. Remarca, in fact, was stung in a television sting conducted by Channel 19 here in Los Angeles. He was found to have been overcharging $90 for a fan belt. And he says that it's really not his fault because it's buyer beware and that women are asking for it when they're coming in. He also says that he needs the money because he has a medical situation at home with his children and his wife. The children need braces, which I can understand. He says his wife needs a breast enhancement, which I don't know whether that's a medical emergency or not. 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show.
The Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686.
Mr. Austin,
1-800-449-8686.
Are you still in business? I'm with Mr. Austin Amarca. You owned or own a service station in Lancaster?
Yes, sir. It was.
I don't want to hear the name of the station, if you don't mind, sir. I know you're affiliated with a major oil company. Are you working now?
No, sir, I'm not.
You are not working?
No, sir, I'm not. I'm in a pool hall right now, if you want to know where I am, because I don't have anywhere to go. And I have been suspended from doing business, prohibited by the court from doing business in my own service station for the next 90 days. On top of that, I've got to do community service. And on top of that, I've been ordered to pay a fine. And now I told you that my family's got medical needs. And
all right, I got to let the audience know we're talking to Austin Amarca, an owner of a service station who was caught by the authorities basically overcharging female customers for auto repair because you say women are asking for it. Now, this medical need that you have is a monetary need.
That is correct. I need money for the medical services that my children and my wife require.
Okay, the kids need braces and your wife needs, as you say, a breast enhancement.
Sir,
because you realize that's cosmetic surgery.
Sir, you could call it cosmetic surgery. My wife, who I love very, very much, is very, very flat. Very, very flat.
Well, I don't want to get into the whole state of your wife's physical beauty or not, okay?
No, but again, I'm not talking, this is not cosmetic. This is a fundamental need. She is flat. And for 14 years, I've come home with grease under my fingernails, with dirt on my brow, with sweat on my face.
Sir, I understand.
If I could just finish, though.
No, I get that you work hard.
But I come home, and then I look at that, and I go, at least I could come home to something, you know, a nice pair to look at, is all I'm saying.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Let's go to Mike. Go ahead, Mike. You're on the Phil Hendry Show.
This is ridiculous. I cannot believe this. A couple of points really quick. If this guy's been doing it for 15 years, he has saved up enough money to get whatever medical needs, quote, unquote, that he needs.
Well, I didn't say I was doing it for 15 years. I said I owned a service station for 15 years. I didn't say I'm doing... Huh?
Yeah.
I didn't say I'm doing this for 15 years.
Well, if you've been taking money, I think it's all a scam. And number two, sir, talking about big oil companies, I think you said earlier that every 3,000 miles, you may do it a little earlier than 3,000, you get your oil changed every 3,000 miles.
That's what I was referring to, sir.
Well, and then what about the $50 that you charge to fill up your windshield wiper fluid?
I said an extra $20, $25.
Oh, okay, so that's fine? And how many times have you done that over the 15 years?
I said that women are asking for it. If they don't know what
do you mean women? Why won't you try it on me? I'd love to see you do it on me. I'm not in Lancaster, but I'd love to.
I tell you, I bet you I could pull it on you, and you wouldn't know whether to flip or fly.
No,
yeah,
I'm sorry, sir.
You could bring your car into me. I could tell you got a busted lifter spring in the engine. I got to pull the manifold off, and I'd have you walking down the road to Denny's to get yourself a cup of coffee while I did the work.
You know what, sir? I look up in the corner of my windshield and I see that I need my oil changed every 3,000 miles. What are you going to put if I have 100,000 that I need to come back at 100,000?
I ain't talking about an oil change. I could rebuild. I could have you paying me to rebuild your engine.
Well, now wait a minute. What are you?
Are
you
give
saying?
me a break.
No, give you a break. Look, if
you're going to change my brakes now?
Now, if the woman comes in and says she needs this or that, she's begging for it. She's just begging to get ripped off. I see a leg come out of that car with stockings and heels. She's pleading with me to steal from her.
Boy, there's got to be a woman out there that knows about cars. 1-800-449-8686. Julia, go ahead.
There are plenty of women out there that know a little bit about cars or enough not to get ripped off.
I haven't met one yet.
This guy is a thief and a liar. It's no different than if a woman walked into a station and put her purse on the counter, he takes money out of her wallet. You know?
No, what? Now, let me ask you, what woman would be stupid enough to do that?
Sir, you have no integrity. You are a thief and you are a liar.
I'm a thief?
There are plenty of stations
where's the
out
buyer?
there.
Buyer beware.
There are plenty of stations out here who are willing to treat people honestly, women and men.
I looked it up. Buyer beware. And what
because a woman wears a skirt and a pair of stockings, you think you have the right to rip her off?
She's asking for it. And
maybe that woman has a child that has buck teeth or a husband that needs a...
Well, ma'am, then I would suggest she starts learning about automobiles. Because I've got 5 children with buck teeth, and I've got a woman who wants herself to get a breast job.
But it sounds like it's more your issue with your family than even their friends. And if your wife's friends, if she goes to her friend's house and they tease her or harass her for having small breasts, they don't sound like they're very good friends.
Ma'am.
But you, sir, are even a liar.
Have you ever checked your own oil? Have you ever checked your own oil? No.
Yeah, I know. I've changed oil. I
know where your
spent 20
dipstick
years
is?
in the Army. I know how to change oil. I know how to check a belt to see if it's
So you know where a dipstick is?
Yeah, I know what a dipstick is, and you definitely meet the quota of a dipstick. Okay? Watch your mouth, Jessica. So,
all right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, that filthy mouth dirty...
Hold on. 1-800-449-8686. Are there any women out there who know about cars? This is an auto mechanic who freely admits when he sees a woman come to a service station, she's just asking for it, he rips her off. And he needs the money for his kids' buck teeth and his wife's breast enhancement. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendry Show.
One 1-800-449-8686. The Phil Hendry Show is back.
Okay, I got this idea. This is my idea. I want to do this. Subway, as you know, has a TV commercial on. Subway sandwiches has a TV commercial on. And I want to preface what I'm about to say by saying Subway makes a great sandwich. I just had one last night. But they've had these TV commercials on with the guy who lost, was it 90 pounds? Jared. And on it goes. Every week, every night, every day, every minute, here's Jared, and he talks about how he lost 90 pounds by eating Subway sandwiches. Well, naturally, you know and I know, he lost 90 pounds by eating Subway sandwiches and bicycling 100 miles a day or lifting weights or whatever else that he did and you know, doing push-ups and sit-ups and probably other things he did with his diet. Now, I think McDonald's is missing a golden opportunity, and I'm going to do this. This is my idea. I don't want anybody else ripping this off. I'm going to McDonald's with this. I need to lose 40 pounds by the time we shoot our pilot, and I can do it. And I'm going to do it the same way I lost the 40 pounds 2 years ago. You guys were with me 2 years ago. You know I lost 40 pounds with Weight Watchers and on an exercycle. So I'm going to do it eating a quarter pounder with cheese, a order of fries, and a chocolate milkshake every day. No, I'll eat other stuff. I'll eat really good stuff. But I will also, for lunch, every day, have a quarter pounder with cheese, a jumbo, I'll supersize the fries, and a supersized chocolate milkshake every day. And I will then write to McDonald's and say I lost 40 pounds eating a quarter pounder with cheese, fries, and a shake every day. And tell me that McDonald's would not have one of the greatest, funniest ad campaigns. Me standing there skinny. Hi, I'm Phil Hendry. You're right. And I'll be walking through the neighborhood waving to people with a big shake, with a shake and some supersized fries. And I lost 40 pounds eating that every day. You telling me I can't do it? You know I can. You know I can. As a matter of fact, you know I can lose 40 pounds by eating an Egg McMuffin every morning, a quarter pounder with cheese for lunch, and for dinner, how about a double QP with cheese or 2 Big Macs? Or a McRib meal. So in the morning, I'll have the sausage McMuffin with egg. For lunch, the quarter pounder with cheese. And for dinner, the McRib meal. And drop 40 pounds. And come on the air and make the claim I was eating McDonald's and I dropped all this weight. Now, they'd have to pay me large for that. Then I could quit and retire. What do you think? What I'll do then is I'll have it, and then I'll just, I'll puke it up. How'd you do it, Phil? Well, I had the McRib meal, and then naturally what everybody does after they have the McRib meal, I puked it up. I just shoved my fingers down my throat and brag, and out it came. But isn't that what everyone does when they eat at McDonald's? You're right. All right. He's Hendry, Phil Hendry. Brrr, shows me just firing off a McRib meal. Hendry, Phil Hendry, he lost all that weight. I'm walking down the street. Kids on swings are waving to me. And I got the McRib meal with, like, sauce all over my face. I thought about that this morning. I thought, because it's misleading at best to say, and at worst, it's out-and-out false advertising. To claim that eating Subway somehow helps you lose weight. I don't see how they can make that claim. As a matter of fact, turkey sandwich at Subway with some lettuce, and I'll tell you what because I had one last night. It's the bun, it's the sandwich roll, and then it's the thin sliced turkey, which looks like the kind of stuff you get at the supermarket that you get in the packages. Then they have a thinly sliced cucumbers and some tomatoes or something in there. Then I think they maybe put a little oil and vinegar on it. I don't know what. It's very good. Now you take a QP with cheese. Well, what's the difference? It's meat. It's bun. There may be a little bit more fat with the ground beef, but the fact of the matter is animal protein is superior to other kinds of protein, and cow protein is better than turkey protein. Turkey protein is better than chicken protein, and chicken protein is better than fish. It is fried, you're right, but there isn't, in my opinion, that much difference. And the other thing, too, by the way, for all of you who are vegetarians, have you ever met a healthy-looking vegetarian? The answer, of course, is no. And why is that? Because animal protein is the best protein that you can eat. Soy don't get it done. Tofu don't make it. You can have a variety of marvelous tofus. We have a wonderful walnut loaf. Yeah, I got your walnut loaf. You want to see it? So don't even be going there with me on that soy and tofu. Now, this is coming from a guy. I put down dairy products for a long time. I did not drink milk and I did not eat cheese because I still believe that it's bad for you. I really do. It's mucus producing. It's nasty ass stuff. Cow milk is nasty. So I started drinking the soy for a long time, and now I drink water. I drink soy, but the soy, you talk about gas. Because it's a bean. Try drinking an entire box, that box of soy milk? Try drinking an entire box of that and then getting through an evening with your in-laws. Just, good evening. Yeah, I'm sorry. So the soy was gas-producing, but I will never, and the problem is I love cheese. So that's the dilemma that I have with all that dairy stuff. However, having said that, I will continue to eat meat until the day I die from colon cancer because of the meat that I eat. Because it's good for you. It's great protein. All that carbohydrate stuff is going to kill you. And I'm going to go you one better, and I'm very serious about this. Now listen to this because I'm being serious. I believe that a high diet of carbohydrate may be a partial cause of breast cancer in women.